Hello, fellow homebrewers. JP here, and I want to introduce to you the brand new Brew-Built X1 Conical Series available at More Beer. More Beer sells the highest standard in homebrewing equipment, and the Brew-Built Conicals are just that. They're made from mirror-polished 304 stainless steel, and they come with loads of features that you and I have been looking for. They have a full 2-inch bottom dump valve, which will eliminate your clogging issues, while the sturdy base includes 4 reinforced legs, just like those big Pro tanks do. More Beer also carries the Brew-Built line of options and add-ons like casters, pressure kits, and even external glycol chillers. So you can find out more about the new Brew-Built X1 Conical Unitanks by going over to morebeer.com for detailed videos on the entire line of Brew-Built Conicals. You can trust Brew-Built with your next fermentation, and you can trust More Beer to find the right conical for you. Brew-Built at morebeer.com.
Great beer is about drinkability. Doesn't matter the style.
You guys are like walking beer Wikipedia. That's the first time that you've ever accepted me as a person.
Or you have a fermentation in your gut.
I'm jet propelled at all times.
How many guys do you think that you have the privilege to slap?
Somebody who's never tasted a commercial example, and this is how you know everything about this beer? Please, you don't.
I think that's bullshit.
I think it's bullshit too.
Wow. Are you guys going to arm wrestle?
No. We're going to teabag fight.
Yeah. You heard of Junkyard Wars?
Can I get another high five, Beavis?
Now, live from the Brewing Network studios in Northern California, this is the radio program for home brewers, craft brewers, beer lovers, and beer geeks. It's your only source for live beer radio that brings expert brewers together with, well, expert drinkers. This is the radio program with a head on it. This is The Session.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Session.
Hi, thank you.
2020. New year, new us.
That's true. Well, yeah. Different year, similar us.
Similar us.
Yeah.
Same everything. 2020.
Only slightly older and more wrinkly.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I got called somebody's dad over the holiday break.
You got called someone's dad? Wow.
Yeah, I was like, they're like, oh.
You're out on a date? So I
was like, oh, is this your dad? It was not good.
No.
I was like, no. Her grandfather, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm Justin Crosley. I'm your host today, and with me is JP and Teresa Pasuti and Bevo. We're all back in the studio for an exciting 2020 here at the Brewing Network. And I do think that this is, in almost 15 years, the first time ever, I'm fairly certain, ever, that I have not had at least one beer before the show. I told you, new year, new us.
Wow. Oh, my gosh. Don't tell me it's dry January for Justin.
It's not dry January, but it's dry something.
Because it's
dry until I'm done being dry.
Yeah, so it's the 13th day into the new year, and it's only the first day?
No.
Okay.
It's the 7th day.
Okay.
That I haven't had a beer. But it's the first time ever in the history of the show that I haven't had a beer before the show. I should start by I should add in, by the way,
all the questions.
That I don't think I've gone a week without a beer since I'm like 9 years old.
Right.
Somewhere in that age group.
Yeah. I remember talking to your mom about you were 8. When you were 8, you were hitting that. But at 9, you calmed down, you chilled out a little bit, and then you
took a week off.
Is it doctor mandated or is it Dr. Justin implemented?
Dr. Justin implemented.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. What's going on?
I just had.
It feels good every once in a while, right?
I don't know.
Oh.
I feel the same-ish. I feel more bored. It's the same as when I quit smoking. Like, it wasn't that big of a deal for me. It was just so boring. Like, it's just like something to do. So, I don't know. I feel all right. I'm hydrated as a motherfucker. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, dude.
Turns out, I just drink a lot, whatever the liquid is. So much so that I had to cut back on my drinking. I was drinking too much water, even.
Why were you drinking too much water?
Because I would have like 13 glasses an hour. I don't know why. I just drink a lot. And
do
then
you like seltzer water, like carbonated water?
It's all right.
Because I'll do that if I'm trying not to drink a beer. I'll just grab a carbonated water, and it sort of like satisfies that squelching, piercing flavor that you get, feeling you get from the carbonation.
Yeah.
And usually works for a couple hours.
I pretty much only drink beer or water anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm just all water, but then it was just a lot of water. I had to stop myself from drinking water.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of. I just had been going hard for since October. Like I had been at the Hop Grenade holiday party. I fell into the trunk of an Uber. Like, who does that? People fall out of Ubers all the time.
Yeah.
I fell into an Uber in the trunk.
Okay.
I was that drunk.
It's not the first time you've done that.
In a trunk?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Why was the Uber trunk open?
I was getting things out of it, I guess.
You fell. Okay, because
I didn't ride in the trunk.
Okay.
No, that I've done.
Yes,
sure.
okay, all right.
That's different than falling into the trunk. I
That is
fell.
true.
And anyway, that was like the final straw. I was like, all right, you should the liver needs a break. Because I never want to have to stop drinking entirely, right? So you gotta monitor that every now and then.
It's always good to know, can you do this
easily? I guess.
If you can't do it easily, then, you do have to...
You got to worry about that.
Yeah, you got to worry about that a little bit.
I know that people say that, and I guess it's true. I've never really bothered with that because I always just felt like, okay, well, can do... want to do, I don't want to, so what's the fucking point?
Yeah.
But this time I wanted to, so I was like, all right. And anyway, it's only been a few days, but I was like, hey, what am I going to do for the show? Right? I thought about it.
Yeah.
I'm fine not drinking for the show, even though it's never happened.
Yeah.
It's not that big a deal to me. I'm fine with it, except what about the tasting?
Yeah.
So I was like, well, am I just going to have JP and Teresa do all the tasting and I'll just interview you guys about what it tastes like? And I'm like 80-20. I haven't come to the full conclusion yet. But the other thing was I'll just sip a couple fucking tastes like a normal human,
right.
and then tell people what it tastes like.
I mean, especially because you've been doing it for 7 days. And you're fine with it. You're not itching for a beer.
No.
You're just bored.
I'm just bored.
Having a couple even if you had 2 beers tonight, you could theoretically tomorrow just not have a beer.
Yeah, 100%. But I'm the kind, I like streaks. I do well with
habit is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
exactly.
Yeah, right.
And so I was like, yeah, well, I'll just either not even taste the beers. If it was going to be a phoner guest, I wouldn't taste the beers even.
Why not?
I don't know, because I could just let you guys do it and interview you about it, and then I don't have to feel like, oh, I'm letting them down, the guest down. But the guests are in studio, and I don't want to let them down.
So you don't want to break your
taste
streak.
the beer.
But
I'd rather keep my streak, but I'm okay. I figure a few sips. We have 4 beers to try.
Eating ain't
if I
cheating,
do
Justin, that's all you got.
the 3-ounce pours of each beer, right?
Yeah. That's not cheating.
Eating ain't cheating, like you said. Yeah.
It's fine.
You could always have a spittoon.
That's what I thought. I thought of that, but I thought that's douchier than just saying,
a little bit.
I'm not going to taste the beer tonight, guys. You have to tell me how it is.
Yeah.
I definitely thought of that. Crossed my mind. I was like, no, that's douchey. I can't have a I can't spit it out. So
yeah, that's almost worse, man.
I think I'll just taste the 4 little tasters.
I think you'll taste the 4 little tasters, dude. I think you'll be fine.
What if I get hammered off that?
I would love that for you.
That's kind of the funnest thing about not drinking for a while. I definitely had 3 9-month stretches without alcohol for the last few years.
Right.
Yeah.
And
how many of those were DUIs?
Oh, no.
Okay, just curious. Because just the way you said, like 9 months. I'm like, well, let's see. First, you get in trouble, then your license. I just was adding it up.
Like,
okay.
maybe it was actually
We're in different worlds, man.
I know, what's wrong with me?
10 months.
Instantly, I knew what she was talking about.
Guys.
Would you go to jail?
Yeah, I'm a dirtbag, but not that much.
I knew exactly. I was like, oh yeah, pregnancy.
The whole world did. See, this is why I should abstain from drinking from time to time. Because you guys, like the natural thing is like, oh, pregnancy, and I'm like, you got in trouble, didn't you?
Yeah. I guess that would make sense.
Yeah.
No, it's. It's awesome. You haven't had
any
beer
for
the longest time, and you just keep thinking, like, you see the finish line, and you think, I really can't wait to have that beer.
Yeah.
And that beer is amazing, and it's also like you lost all your tolerance, so you can have one beer and be fine.
Yeah, Taryn's the same way.
I don't like that, though. See, part of why I like that I drink a lot is I like to have a high tolerance so that I can have all the beers I want, and when I'm not falling into trunks, generally be okay. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to lose the tolerance and then not be able to have a few beers, and I'm like, oh God, take me home.
You'll get it back. I think
there was some kind of weird thing with Jim Cook. He had this like,
oh Jesus, don't even.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys talked about this.
Yeah. He got lit up pretty good about that.
Yeast.
It's like yeast with yogurt and and he's, what did he say? The yeast metabolizes the alcohol in your gut.
Alcohol dehydrogenase in your stomach. I don't know.
Which is total.
He talked about that on one of my GABF panels, I think, too.
Oh, no.
Something.
I bet that was weird.
What was his? But his whole thing is that's how he keeps up his tolerance.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, honestly, if for me, I can drink most men under the table, no problem.
Right.
Yeah. So I think it's just a matter of practice.
That's what I'm saying. And now I'm going to be out of practice.
Well, it's also genetics. There's enzymes in your body are responsible for taking the alcohol and dealing with it and processing it. Right. Yeah. I've never been able to drink a ton. Every once in a while. But sometimes after like 3 or 4 beers, I'll get a headache. I'm like, I don't really.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. It's a thing. I've always wanted to do that where I could let's just go drink. And then either I get super tired or part of my problem is I'll have a beer. I'll have 2 beers in like the first 25 minutes because beer's so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you go like, well, now I'm standing around here with my hands in my pockets. I might as well go get another beer. So I've had 3 beers in an hour. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing right now.
Right.
I don't know where I am.
Yeah. See, I'm easily 3 beers in an hour.
I can't. I just can't. I don't know.
We'll see. Like, I don't know how long this is going to go on for. This could go on for 24 hours more.
Yeah.
This could go on for 2 months more. I haven't decided.
I think I'm getting kind of bored with beer, to be honest.
Oh, you and here we go with the change. Are you fucking seltzer now?
No.
Are you going to kombucha?
No, I'm not. Kombucha is. That shit.
Are you going to abstain? Like, are you going to go no alcohol? It's a whole thing right now.
It's a whole thing right now, and I've been doing it for a little bit. Basically, just backing off on the beer that I do consume.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll be 1 or 2 a night now. And sometimes trying to go just a whole day without it because I'm drinking because out of habit, not because I want to like the beer that I'm going to drink.
Yeah,
it's just I'll just have a beer. Well, I don't want a beer. So what is that? What is that? Addiction? Not really addiction, but like
I think habit.
You're geared to it. Yeah.
So I had that experience last night, for example. And I had accomplished the things I wanted to accomplish for the weekend. And I was like, oh, you should have a beer.
Oh, yeah, reward yourself.
But then I didn't want a beer.
Yeah.
But so I'm like, all right, well, I'll do something else. And I don't know, I sit on the couch for a little while and I'm like, oh, I should have a beer. But I don't want the beer.
Right.
And so I realized that and very much like when I was smoking, I didn't have I don't actually believe that smoking is all that addictive. By the way, sorry, smokers out there, but I never really bought into that. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, did I talk about this already on the air? Like, for example, if you're off heroin for like 12 hours, your body goes, like, you're kind of fucked. Your body goes into withdrawals. Mm-hmm. I don't know this from firsthand experience, but...
Right.
Not yet.
Yeah, that's exactly. Not until I'm like 65.
I'll have to find out.
You actually have... Well, that doesn't really happen with nicotine. Like, you can get on a flight, you go to bed every night, and you go 8 hours without a cigarette. I never bought into the... What I do think, though, I like it when the phrase is, nicotine may be habit forming. Right. Because I do, at least in my case, and I'm not going to speak for everyone, all right, but you're not going to go into like convulsions if you stop smoking like you would heroin. I just believe that habits are strong, and habits are hard to break, and so with the smoking, it wasn't a big deal other than the habit. Like, I got bored, or every time I wanted to take a break from the computer here, I would go have a cigarette, and then I would take a break, and I'd be like, oh, well, what the fuck am I going to do now? It was a habit. And so I had the same thing with the beer last night, and I just was like, but I just don't want a beer. Why do I keep thinking I should have a beer?
Exactly.
It's a habit.
Right.
So I didn't have beer. I drank 14 more glasses of water. And
but it's interesting. You're like this interesting juxtaposition or juxtaposition, huh? There we go.
I like it.
Because you want to kill yourself.
Right.
But you are now not drinking. And to me, it's like, well, then if you just want the sweet embrace of death and the pain and suffering to stop, then just keep drinking.
Yeah, I don't want to die a painful death per se, though. And also, like I said, what I feel like is with my luck, I'll survive myself, my own
like liver cancer, or
my own antics, and then have to live like this the rest of my life, which is boring as fuck. I'm not smoking. I'm not drinking. I'm barely jerking off.
The one day, well, that's just low T problem. No, the one day, like, you lose control of your RV, which is like in 6 months. Knock on wood, it doesn't happen.
Hopefully at the end of the tour.
That's going to be your luck. Is when you're going off, you're like, why did I take that 7 weeks off?
Oh, I see.
That's going to be
now, see, now you're talking me back into drinking, because that's like the mentality I've always had, that like, fuck it, I'm going to basically either die in a plane crash or fall off a cliff or have a massive heart attack or something sudden anyway. Yeah. Why be bored in the meantime?
Well, I mean, I feel like as far as things that will
give me a beer,
kill you early... You're 50-50. Sudden or, slow
or
onset.
I got to live this like
leukemia.
Slow off, but that's when I take up heroin. So I guess I have a plan for that, too.
Or you just go to Oregon and kill yourself. Like assisted suicide or something.
I was like, why Oregon?
But they don't let you do that just
willy-nilly.
You have to be terminal. Anybody
Look,
gets to do that.
There's ways.
Pretend
in any
that
state.
You have a gun. And pretend that you can go out into the woods. I'm not saying you would.
Right.
Don't red flag Justin for this, but there's ways you'll be fine.
If I was going to do it that way, I wouldn't go in the woods. I'd make a statement. I'd do it on your front porch or something.
Bing bong!
Yeah, exactly. Ring the fucking doorbell first.
And that's fine, but at least do me the favor of like putting some sort of bag over your head to collect.
Like no mess.
Yeah, right. I would appreciate that.
Yeah. Anyway, so...
Well, this isn't
that was dark
for the new year.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah, we took a good, solid, moral, healthy choice and made it super dark.
And turned it into ending our lives.
Welcome. Welcome to 2020. It's not going to get any better.
Right. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. I'll report back. But I figure tonight I'll sip, and I want to taste the beer. Yeah. Like I said, if they weren't here, I'd probably just be like, that's fine. You guys taste it. But
well, I mean, I know we're winding down on it, but it's good to know that you're doing it sort of out of habit, not that you need it.
Yeah,
I think
agree.
that's an important thing for everybody. For everybody listening, to like make sure that you understand that you don't actually need to have a beer. You want to have a beer, and you can go days without it. Try it every once in a while. Doc used to go, like a month?
I know, which would always surprise me.
Yeah, but then he would,
I never really bought that.
No, well, I know for a fact he didn't, because I think I saw him at his office a couple years ago or whatever, and he was like, his workers like, hey, how's the no drinking month going? And I'm like, you had 2 fucking beers at the show? He's like, well, that doesn't count. I'm like, okay. Now that I know where we are, it's fine.
That it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, too, by the way, like I don't want to speak for everybody. I have family members who, couldn't abstain, right? Yeah. Until they went, through the whole program and everything. So, medically they say like there's a gene, it's a disease. Yeah. And maybe the addictive part, maybe I didn't inherit that gene like the other schleps in my family.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Because like I said, it's just more. I just get bored.
Yeah.
Drinking beer is so much fun, and it tastes so good. It's so tasty.
Once it hit your lips, Justin, it tastes good.
It's so tasty. And the same with smoke. I really enjoyed smoking. It was so fun.
I smoked for a year, and I was like, I got bored with smoking. I was like,
Really?
Yeah, and then I stunk.
Only a year. Good for you.
Yeah. They were non-filters, though, so I feel like it was like 5 years.
Yeah, that might.
Yeah. It was when I was going to art school, and I was
It
like,
was.
really cool.
Well, and like, honestly, the last smoking I did was always like hand-rolled cigarettes, which make you smell like so extremely.
Yeah.
Ugg.
Were you living in Paris at the time? Like,
No.
Okay.
No.
It's very French.
Starting
of you.
a brewery.
Yeah,
It's like
dude.
Tough go.
So not that long ago.
No, not super long.
Did you roll those little
ago.
stupid little filters in there too?
No.
You just went straight.
Yeah.
Wow.
But usually hand roll are smaller. Like mine were
But
tighter.
not so many. I'd have like one.
Yeah.
But still.
Like one what?
I mean,
a day?
Like one per day, yeah.
Oh, see, I can't do that. If I'm going to do things, I'm doing them all the way. That's a problem too, I think. You know.
Well, if that were true, you would have a
one
chamber
cigarette, it's a
installed
pack.
here, and then you would smoke a pack during the show.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, people asked me that when I was quitting. They're like, so what did you, like, cut down? I'm like, no, there's no cutting down. I'm either doing it or I'm not.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's the same with drinking. Like, I'm either drinking or I'm not. It's not, there's not a lot of in between with me, you know. So it'd be nice if you could just have the one. That's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad, but it's still like, I don't know.
It's not good.
It's not good. No, there's just nothing good about smoking. Beer is a different story to me.
Sure.
But yeah, smoking is just...
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll pick up something else.
Yeah.
We'll
I mean,
see.
it's definitely
Like
a new year.
Acid. Oh, yeah, you're right. Something
CBDs.
constructive. That's probably a good idea.
Well, look, if you want a drug, I feel like acid is, the bang for your buck.
Right.
That's the best sort of
It's supposed to
trait
be
you can
not
get.
habit forming, too.
And everybody's like micro-dosing now. It's like a whole thing.
I totally want to try like microdosing psychedelics.
Did you? Michael Pollan wrote a book about it. You should read that.
Oh, really?
Before you do.
Is it audio form?
I'm sure it is. Yeah.
Can that be a new show on the session?
Microdosing.
We just microdose.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Well, we do have a great show planned for you, despite my sobriety. Alaro Craft Brewery from Sacramento, California, will be in the studio with us, and they brought some of their great beers, which I'm looking forward to sampling.
Responsibly.
Yeah. All right, let's get through some things so that we can get to our interview. Announcements are brought to you today by Beersmith Brewing Software. You can go to beersmith.com, get your free 21-day trial. It's the best stuff out there. You know it, we know it, but since you get a free trial, just go check it out. It works on all the devices that you have. There are tutorials for every single part of it. Go to beersmith.com. Save the date. Saturday, March 28th is our 11th annual Spring Brews Festival right here in Concord, California. Teresa Pasuti and the Crooked Lane crew will be in pouring for the first time, right?
Sure.
You didn't pour last. That's right.
No, we've never poured.
And did you sort out whether or not you're personally making it, Teresa?
Yeah, I'll be here. I will definitely be here.
All right. Sure.
Yeah, to man the Hugger Brewer booth.
Yeah, that's
sure.
right. That's right. Tickets are on sale, but something's wrong with my website, and I couldn't put them up yet.
Huh.
So if you go to universe.com, you can search the event. But I'll have it up on the website this week. I've been emailing with my admin, and I don't know, they're ignoring me. Something broke. I can't figure out what.
That's not good.
Did you notice when you go into the website that the posting looks different and everything?
No.
Is it not? Maybe I should log in under your name and see what's up. Anyway, you should be able to get tickets this week. As usual, they're $40 in advance. And although there's like an early bird ticket for $40, and then as soon as those sell out, it goes up to $50. So you're going to want to order ahead of time. And if you buy at the gate, it's $50. But even at $50, there's like 62 craft breweries from all over California, mostly the Bay, and we get some of the best beer around. It's a lot of fun. We don't let too many people in. We cap it, so it's always a good time. So please come join us for our 11th annual. I will be fresh off of a trip from New Zealand for that.
That's right.
Going there for Hop Harvest, and then I'm coming back. That's how important the beer festival is. I'm coming back just for that. Otherwise, I'd stay in New Zealand.
You don't live here or anything.
Not really anymore. Come at the end of this month.
All your shit's here.
Vagabond.
I move into the I go to New Zealand for a month.
Yeah.
I come back for the beer festival, and then the Brewing Network hits the road.
That's right.
For a 6-month extravaganza.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah,
I'm excited to try to join you. Hopefully that'll work out. But we have some things coming up, so pay attention.
We do, and I have, except for where we're doing the shows, I have the route and the basic dates planned through the end of June. I have to fill it in with brewery stops and where we're recording the shows. Brewers out there, if you'd like the BN to come to your venue and record a show, send an email to feedback@thebrewingnetwork.com. Just feedback@thebrewingnetwork.com, and we'll see if we can get you on the list. And, we're going to be recording from all over the country. So that starts in April. April 1st, right after Spring Brews Festival. If you want to support us in all the things that we do your Amazon shopping by clicking the Amazon link on our homepage, and that's an easy way to do it. You can also subscribe and join the BN Army for as little as $2 a month. You're entered to win the More Beer monthly donation giveaway, which is a chance to win $100 to spend over at More Beer. And the more you donate, the more entries you get. Also, soon we will be launching a new way to support the tour through Patreon.
That's right.
All the cool kids are doing Patreon now.
That's true.
And
I basically started it, so
the whole Patreon phenomenon.
I was basically the first customer, and then everyone used my Ears Up podcast as the sample to see if it would actually work.
Right.
And then they rolled it out. So you're welcome.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
I love it. We'll have information about that soon. Okay. Sign up also on our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. It's a great way to follow what we're doing.
What are we doing?
I don't know what we're doing. By the way, speaking of our social medias, over the holidays, our social media director, Kim Shimke, now just bear with me for a second, died and then came back to life.
Yeah.
This is not one of my exaggerations.
No.
Or a BN joke.
Right.
The woman died and came back and was revived.
That's right.
And she's doing well now. She had a blood clot that just snuck up, and her heart stopped, and they resuscitated her, and it was not looking good there for a little while, and now she's doing much better. She was in a coma after that.
It's crazy.
So she's going to come on air as soon as she's feeling able. It's kind of a long road to recovery when you die. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah. She was out drinking at a brewery yesterday. It's not that long.
Was she?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
She's out drinking right now.
I wonder if she just took a sip and took a picture.
Right.
Poor girl.
I don't know.
Right. Well, listen to this.
I feel like she should come on the show. We deserve it.
Well, and she's going to.
Soon.
But listen to this. I said, listen, I'm a little upset. I think you passed me on the death pool. And she said, no, I won the death pool.
Yeah.
And I said, what do you mean?
True.
She's like, Justin, I died. I fucking died. And they brought me back. I was like, holy shit. Whoever bet on Shimke, like Bevo and Shimke were like the lowest
on the
odds,
thing?
right? She had to have been.
Like a 10,000 to 1.
Yeah, if this was Las Vegas and someone had bet Shimke, they would have won the fucking casino.
Honestly, I think you're not drinking now makes more sense. Because now you don't have that competitive draw to win the death pool.
I already lost.
You've already lost.
Maybe you're right. There was some psychological factor to being out of the running.
So now,
I would have.
your best.
There's no point.
If we had bet money and I lost actual human dollars, I would have thrown a red flag and called bullshit, because just because your heart stops doesn't mean that you're dead. Does it? I don't know. Like in prison, if you have a heart, if the same thing happens and you have a life sentence, like this happened to some guy and he's like suing to get his sentence revoked.
Oh, because he said I died.
Technically died, and the judge
This is
like,
a new life.
No,
I like that though. I like his
a good
argument.
theory, right? Yeah. So is it because they go on brain death, don't they? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, she definitely was not declared dead, but I think we can count like heart stoppage.
I do. I think for the death pool, because we can start a new pool,
right.
so I get to compete again. Also, I like.
Okay, great.
I like the idea that we can now call her Zombie Kim.
It's true
because she died.
Yeah, and she rode that joke for like 2 weeks too. I'm like, I get it. I understand.
Yeah,
stop it.
Right.
I think you should clarify that you were not there, because based on the last episode, you were joking that you were going to like show up. I don't want anyone to suspect you.
That's true.
Of any nefarious activity.
I did say that I was going to come to her holidays and be her date.
That's right. Yeah. Instead of her mom having a heart attack, she did. That's that thought. Yeah.
Well, and also I was. When all this was happening, I was in Colorado closing down our hop grenade out there, and I was feeling really bad about what was happening, and it was kind of easy to reroute my flight to Phoenix. I was going to go see her. I was literally about to change my flight, and then she took a turn for the better, and I was like, fuck it. Yeah. I'm not going to go.
As long as she's out of the woods, it doesn't. Yeah, I'll never talk to her again, and it'll be fine. But
she's she's writing back to us, oh my God, you guys care, and we're like, well, are you okay? Yes. All right, then leave us alone.
We don't care anymore. Can I talk to your mom again? Right. She didn't use as many words.
Right. So keep Kim Shimke in your thoughts, and if our social media has been lacking, it's because our social media director died, and now that she is a zombie, hopefully it'll get better again.
That's right.
All right. Send your feedback over to feedback@thebrewingnetwork.com and your show ideas, and if you're a brewery and you want me to stop there and do a show, send it there. All right, all of those things. Do we have a Twitter game today?
We do.
Twitter game is brought to you today by the Wine and Hop Shop. Go to wineandhop.com. BN listeners get $8 flat rate shipping on orders under 25 pounds. Just enter BN shipping in the notes field of the shopping cart, and your discount will be taken after checkout. If you're in Madison, Wisconsin, order your homebrew supplies online at wineandhop.com and then pick them up at Working Draft Beer Company, located on Wilson Street right across from Central Park. They will waive the shipping and give you half off your first beer. Wineandhop.com. All right, what's our Twitter game?
Well, I think you know by now, Justin, it's common knowledge that aliens are here. Aliens are on Earth.
I've been reading that.
Yeah, but we don't really know what they want. And so I don't know if you've read the news, this current news cycle, but aliens have announced that they're here finally. And what they've been doing is they've been getting a lot of research to build us human beings robot bodies.
Nice.
So we can live forever because they love us so much.
Can I keep drinking in the robot body?
Well, this is the question, right? What would be your upgrades? Because it'd be just kind of like yours, but robotic, right? Because they're not that perfect. But you suck your brain out, put it right in, squelchy sound, into the thing.
How many upgrades do we get?
Whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. You can launch yourself into space and spend the eternity drifting through the stars. Mm-hmm. Or you could sit and jack off for 20 hours a day. whatever you want to do.
I can do that now. I just can't ejaculate.
20 hours a day. I mean, yes, you can ejaculate for 20 hours a day.
I probably have done that in my life.
I'm basically a gorilla.
Yeah.
Just tug on it for safety.
I just get so bored, you know? Well, there's nothing to do. Okay, that's a good Twitter game. I like it.
Oh, thanks.
All right, let's do some feedback. And feedback's brought to you today by the Beer Law Center. Go to beerlawcenter.com. John over there can take good care of you like he does our trademark status, and also he does brewery filings, especially if you're in North Carolina, and all of those things. All right. Ian Titus has written in.
He has risen.
It's about Duke Cannon. And he says, you fuckers talked me into getting that big-ass brick of pine soap. It smells like Comet Cleanser, he says. So I can't decide if I'm turned on or being nagged to clean something.
Or both.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with your olfactory nerves, for one. It does not smell like Comet Cleanser. Comet Cleanser is like one of the worst smelling things.
Well, Comet isn't even pine.
It's not exactly.
It's dusty bleach.
It's like ammonia.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, dusty ammonia bleach.
But I like how the thought of cleaning with pine salt gets him
either
hard.
Turns him on or wants him to clean. Yeah.
Well, he should maybe consider that women really enjoy men who clean. That's like a big deal.
Right. There you go. All right. Well, anyway.
There you go.
I say.
I'm still working through that soap, man.
It's going to take you a while.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. I'm only on my second brick since we started talking about it.
Damn.
And there's about a third of it left. Maybe a quarter of it left.
Wow.
Yeah. The stuff lasts, but it's nice. It's very nice. All right. Thanks, Ian Titus.
Yeah. Sure.
Right. Brooke writes in, howdy, Brewcasters.
Hi.
I just wanted to say thanks for all the great content over the years. I've been listening for 3 years now and would certainly not be half the brewer I am today without these shows. I was also hoping that you'd be able to give a huge shout-out to John Blickman from Blickman Engineering for me. He hooked me up with an awesome prize package to be given out at a charity homebrew competition that I'm holding in Wellsboro, Pennsylvania on February 22nd. The dude really went above and beyond what I expected, so thank you to John. Keep up the good work, boys, and Bevo, and Teresa, by the way. And as always, suck at JP from Brooke. All right, well, John Blickman is always a good guy and a strong supporter of not just the Brewing Network, but the homebrew community at large, so I'm not surprised. All right, Jason writes in. Different
good
Jason.
Name. Oh, that's too bad.
Hello, JP, Justin, Beverly. When are people going to include Teresa in
I don't know. Like, it's like hit or miss.
Right.
Hit or miss.
Maybe because they never know who's going to be here, you or Sully
Maybe.
or whatever.
They just don't want to let me down. Yeah. They just leave me out.
Right. Jason says, while listening to people's suggestions of places for Justin to visit on the Bunker Tour of America, I heard someone mention the great taste of the Midwest in Madison, Wisconsin, which, by the way, as I was mapping out my tour, I have included the great taste of the Midwest. I'm hoping to be there. And I'm going to come from the north, from Canada. So I'll be in Canada first. Canadians.
Nice.
Just before the Great Taste, so reach out and see if we can make some stops there. He says, if Justin makes it to the Taste, it would be great for him to stop by our Steel Tank Brewing Company tap room in Oconomowoc, Wisconsin.
Not bad.
Close, probably. Yeah. Oconomowoc?
Sure, dude.
Probably Oconomowoc. Yeah. I think that's closer. Oconomowoc, Wisconsin, which is about 50 minutes east of Madison.
I'm not going to walk here anymore.
and a straight shot from the freeway. That's good. Like, people think I can't drive, so it's good. I did catch it on fire. We don't have anything crazy or show-worthy to cover an episode. He's a little self-deprecating. But we do have a lot of funny stories relating to anything that can go wrong, has gone wrong, with opening our new tap room. Be fun to have some beers and laughs. All right, Jason, I'm in. If I'm drinking by then.
Hell yeah.
Alex writes in, hello, Brewcasters. I just listened to the episode with Block 3 Brewing Company, speaking of Canada, and after hearing about how Justin's going to try and make it to their location on his countrywide brewery and RV tour-a-palooza, I also had a few suggestions. So here we go. Holmes Brewery in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Said it's a relatively new spot, but they're killing it with their sours and IPAs.
Murderers.
Holmes, yeah.
Okay.
Continuing east on the I-94 corridor.
Oh.
Traffic and weather on the 9th. Can drop Justin off in Detroit to make a stop at Batch Brewing Company. I don't know if I'm going to do Detroit.
I don't think you... Well, look, I'm sure...
I don't know if I survived Detroit.
Well,
Detroit's...
I think Detroit is intimidating. Is changing a lot, and there are very good sections with lovely, lovely, nice people, and I'm sure they will all direct you away from the places where you would not leave. Yeah, for sure.
You could probably find a Detroitian to be your handler.
That's probably a good idea.
Take you in and out.
Anybody in a Cadillac, I'm sure, would love to tell you exactly.
Well, because what I feel like is the bunker, it already looks like I'm squatting somewhere. Like anywhere the bunker is parked is like, well, that guy's squatting.
Is it that shitty? I thought it looked better now.
The bunker, no.
Oh, okay.
The bunker did not.
All right.
Let's see. Anyway, he says they've been open since 2015 after winning a grant from the city of Detroit for a new startup.
Oh,
cool.
Yeah.
That's nice.
They started very small and throughout the years have progressively expanded their production, keeping a focus on the community surrounding them. And they have killer bread pudding.
That sounds like they've been keeping a watchful eye on everybody's who don't get their shit stolen. Keeping an eye on the community that surrounds us.
Bevo applauds the bread pudding.
Every time they add a tank, they add a security camera.
Yeah, bread pudding's dope.
I don't know.
That's weird in a brewery, though. I mean, it sounds like they have other food because bread pudding is so kind of out there. It wouldn't be my first choice.
Yeah, it's kind of like beer is bread pudding. It's just a different variation on beer.
Yeah,
or shittily made bread pudding.
Yeah, maybe they have a bread pudding ale.
That'd be tight.
It's like we put our leftover bread pudding and made this strange sour brown beer.
Ew, that sounds gross.
Okay,
I'm
not helping. Sorry.
Alex also says, Alex gets around because he says Braxton Brewing Company in Covington, Kentucky is one of his favorite breweries around right now.
Yeah,
they have a stellar lineup. Anyway, that's another one he says.
Blah.
Yeah. So we'll see.
All right. I put all those on your document. I feel like most of the time when people suggest a place, I just put it in feedback too, because I think it's cool to
I like it.
Inform other people that may not know about these little hidden gems, but all that's on your...
when I was looking at the map, when we finish at HomebrewCon in Nashville,
yes,
I was thinking I might be able to catch the edge of Kentucky on my way up to Canada, so this might work. So thank you for your...
support?
All of your... Well, if they're supporting, but their advice.
Oh, that too.
Let's see. Kev writes in. Justin and team.
Big Kev.
I've been a listener for just a short time, but you taught me so much. I was thinking about making the jump into homebrewing and got a recommendation to listen to the session from a friend, and you quickly took the intimidation factor out of it. So thank you. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, because we're idiots. So if we can do it.
That's true.
He says, though, one question. I do not understand the group's hatred toward hazy styles.
Oh, God, here we go.
I just want to say it's not really a group hatred. If I could edit this, more of a JP Beardy hatred.
Yeah.
So that it's like a duo, not quite a group.
That's true. Yeah, Kev, pull your fucking head out.
It's like an awards category. Best duo in an ensemble cast.
Yeah, Warren and I are booked as a duo, so we're billed as a duo.
Yeah, angriest duo in an ensemble. Anyway, he says the Brewing Network is about growing the beer lover community.
Not really.
Does he mean like beer lovers or like beer? Like you're a lover.
Yeah, like that we're definitely both interested in growing, because if it's one thing we talk a lot about here is sex. And how to have a lot of it. Yeah,
or none of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're either on one side
for more
or the other.
sex.
Yes, sexual people.
He says, we're about growing the beer lover community, yet you're turning off a new generation of beer lovers by your hatred of the haze.
No, not at all.
For many hazy... For many,
comma
hazy. Yeah, thank you for that. Hazy beers get people drinking craft with its juicy, approachable taste. He wants to know if we've had Treehouse beers. No. Have we had them on the show?
We haven't had them on the show, but someone sent them to us.
Okay. He says they, in my opinion, are fantastic. A great story of growth as well. Maybe worth a visit on your trip. I just want this show to reach people just getting into beer. And the show has gotten me to branch out from my hazy styles and enjoy more styles of beer. And, of course, make my own. So thank you, and keep inspiring. I'll listen to big beer ads for you if it keeps the lights on.
Nice.
Well, thanks, Kev. That's a sacrifice right there. So, yeah, listen, it's not the whole crew.
And we've never said it's the whole crew.
It is not the whole crew's favorite style, I will admit that, but I think I've had some excellent ones on the show here, and I'm always willing to say so when I like it. So, but you might be right. I actually tend to agree with Kev that, there is like a new generation of beer drinkers that are coming into beer just based on the hazy style, and with people moving away to like hard seltzers and things like that, like, it does, the juiciness or whatever kind of serves a purpose for younger drinkers, and I tend to agree. I don't want to turn people off, Kev, so I will consider your advice.
Well, I don't know, but that's... So you're saying that we are turning people off?
I'm saying it's possible that if a new, let's say a new, a brand new craft beer fan or brand new home brewer who got into beer for the first time because loved a hazy somebody gave them, got turned on to the show, and the first thing they hear when they hit play is a bunch of hazy bashing. Then, I could see how they'd be like, oh, well, they're talking about me.
Yeah, but
I don't want to listen to this.
Well, and the reason I think that it's okay is because that's not our show. Like, whenever we're bashing hazy beers, it's not we, like you said, it's me or Warren. And you guys do a really good job of keeping the balance and talking about it and telling me to shut the fuck up. Telling Warren definitely to shut up. And especially when we're interviewing a brewery about it, I'm not going to talk a lot about it. And if there is a brewery that has a hazy beer, I'm going to be sort of more joking about it than really hammering them. So I feel like we get a good mix. I think it's fine to have differing opinions on it. I don't think that my opinions have derailed anybody from liking hazy beers or feeling bad about it or turn anybody off from the show. Maybe it has, but I
would agree with that, except that maybe on the couple of shows like where I'm not here, and then there's like a 5 or more minute tangent on the Beardy and JP front before somebody interjects.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Then a new listener might have to listen, and are they going to make it through the 5 minutes before somebody interjects? And I'm like, maybe not, because that'd be like, oh, they're talking to me. So I respect yours.
Yeah.
I'm saying he might have a point. You know, if that, well, like I said, if I tuned into something and they were literally just talking horribly about the thing that I really, really like for 5 minutes, I might go, well, I'm turning this shit off.
Look, all I do is hold the mirror up. What you see in it is it's up to you.
Well, let's be honest. Like, if they're going to be into the show, they've got to wade through a lot of nonsense anyway.
Sure,
so.
Good point.
Let me tell you about Puerto Ricans. No, I don't know. I mean, it's anything, but that's fine, Kev. Good job.
Yeah, you have to be patient because the gems are there. You just gotta, be a little maybe wade through. And honestly, like, it's JP, you're not wrong. Like, if I can choose between a clear beer and a hazy beer, I'm going to drink a clear beer. Yeah. But at the same time, like, when I meet somebody who truly loves hazy beers, I often ask them a lot of questions because I'm trying to understand, like, what is in your mind that loves that thing, and how can I make something that you love that I also respect and enjoy.
I just shit on him. So we're just in different industries.
I know. Yeah. I'm more of a hazy apologist, I guess.
All right. Well, thank you for writing in, Kev.
Yeah.
Justin from Las Vegas writes in, hey, BN crew, I'm a long-haul truck driver, and the Brewing Network is helping keep me sane.
Toe that yellow line, baby.
On those long days of driving. I don't get home often, so I don't have much chance to brew or to drink for that matter, so I'm living vicariously through you. Thank you for that.
Maybe you should be a long-haul truck driver.
You should get
wouldn't have time to
for
drink.
Sure.
You're right. Well, I'm going to long-haul RV drive, I guess.
Yeah.
It just so happens that every stop I make is at a fucking brewery.
Yeah. You'd be like, but you don't have I guess you do have a schedule, but not as intense as like a long-haul trucker. So maybe that's the calling. Maybe instead of heroin, you age out in the cab of a beautiful 18-wheeler.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't sound nearly as fun.
I don't know that I would listen to a beer show like while I'm not drinking. But you know what I did? I put on, I think it was over the weekend. Sometimes I'll just put something on TV while I'm doing other stuff just because it keeps me company.
Yeah.
And I put on Cheers, right?
Oh, I love that.
Oh.
And I didn't pay attention. I just, I'm listening. And after like an hour or so, a couple episodes, I was like, wait, why are you watching a bar show when you're abstaining? But it didn't affect.
No, it's
I didn't
about
think about it for like an hour. Then I was like, it's not about the beer. It's clearly the characters. But it did strike me that I'm like, really, the first show and I haven't watched Cheers in I don't know how long. The first show you turn on in your abstinence is fucking Cheers?
That is funny.
It was a bit strange.
Yeah.
So anyway, maybe I could listen to a beer show. Justin says, on your tour next year, I want to suggest coming to Las Vegas. This is already a bad idea, I just want you to know. Vegas and me have a great relationship for 48 hours. He says, actually, technically Henderson. And I know Henderson, by the way. I'm a desert kid. I know these places. He says, visit what we call the Booze District. It's an industrial area near downtown that Henderson has a downtown now? I haven't been there in a long time.
Not only does it have a downtown, it has districts.
Yeah.
And it's a booze district.
Yeah.
It's an industrial area near downtown that has 3 breweries. Bad Beat. I think I know those guys. Yeah. Bad Beat, Craft House, and Astronomy Ale Works. Also has the Las Vegas Distillery and a winemaking school if you're into that sort of thing. Also, up the street a bit is Joseph James Brewing, and on Water Street in downtown is Lovely Lady Brewing. That's a lot of breweries for Henderson.
Don't they have like some motorcycle rally there? Or am I thinking of Sturgis?
That's Sturgis. Yeah. I mean, Henderson might.
What does Henderson have?
Casinos and breweries, apparently.
Okay.
It's a great area, and Las Vegas as a whole has several other breweries that you can visit. Thanks for all you do, and hope to see you in Vegas. I don't know if I'm going to make it to Vegas this time around. Maybe at the end of the tour, because I haven't planned that yet, and I could make Vegas the route home. I like Vegas. Lots of places for RVs in Vegas. It's an RV place.
I don't like Vegas the few times I've been because I'm not really a gambler or a strip club dude. But recently I've been thinking about getting into blackjack because of the time on the cruise where basically that's all I did is drink mojitos and play blackjack. And it was great. And I keep thinking about that more and more. And then look, now that Taryn got a raise, I'm thinking now I might have some money from gambling.
Take on some blackjack.
Yeah, get into debt is what I'm really talking about.
That's my jam.
Mortgage the farm, if you know what I mean.
All right, Noah writes in. I got to get through it. It's a long segment, huh?
Yeah, we've been off for 3 weeks.
Yeah, right. There's a lot to talk about.
We're backed up, if you know what I mean.
A lot of people writing in after listening to the Block 3 episode. Popular episode.
75% of our feedback mentioned, I was listening to the Block... Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, it's cool.
Well, Noah writes in, I just got done listening to the Block 3 episode. And he says, I had an unoriginal idea for the trip next year. I was going to preface this, by the way, saying, Noah, I think this is an original and fantastic idea.
Oh.
He says, with the Duke Cannon soap coming in those ammo containers that we were talking about, there isn't a better combo than making a hop grenade soap with them.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It's a fucking clever idea.
Yeah.
He says they already do have an IPA soap that they make with Deschutes, but a hop grenade soap would fit even better. Duke Cannon is in the Minneapolis, Minnesota area, which is just under 2 hours away from Shell's Brewing in New Ulm.
God, I want to go. Let's go.
So he says, I think it'd be worth a stop.
Yeah.
Listen to me, Noah. I'm going to reach out to Duke Cannon about this because I think that'd be amazing.
And if we go and make soap there, Noah should come.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, we should bring Noah.
I wonder if we can go make soap.
I think we could. I mean, it's made in the USA. It's not like it's made in China and shipped over.
Right.
It's made here. They have to have a soap factory.
True. We might get beat up, though. They're tougher than we are at Duke Cannon.
Well, I feel like we should go and, completely shaven and just in, the worst clothes so they can feel more manly so they don't pick on us. It's
don't pick on us.
Yeah.
So you just don't look very tough. They're just like...
yeah, they're like, oh,
come on.
Yeah.
We'll help you out.
I like this idea.
I like it, too.
And again, thinking, I'm so bad at geography, but I have a big map on my wall right now because of this. I think Minnesota could also be done after July, after I'm done in the Wisconsin and then greater Chicago area. I could take the route home through Minnesota. I like this idea. All right, the last one is long, so I'm going to save it. But Glenn wrote in, and he thinks that the Block 3 show is our best show ever in the history of shows.
That's not even possible because I wasn't on it.
Okay, right. Agreed. All right. What do I have to do before I take the break? Before the break, thank you for listening to our feedback. And also, thanks to the 21st Amendment Brewery. Their latest seasonal release, Tasty IPA, is still on the shelves. They probably got a new one coming out soon. But check out Tasty. Of course, it's 218's collaboration with everyone's favorite brewcaster, Mike Tasty McDole. At 6.8 ABV and 58 IBUs, it's a tasty IPA. It drinks easily, but isn't necessarily easy drinking. It's got a hop-forward creation. Listen to the hop. It's got Calypso, Simcoe, Azaka, Amarillo, Citra, Simcoe, Lupulin Pellets, Centennial, Cascade, Equinaut, Cascade Lupulin Powder, Mosaic, and for some reason, Azaka again. Check out Tasty on the shelves today. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be speaking to Alaro Craft Brewery. Hang in there. It's The Session. We'll be right back.
You're tuned into The Session.
Because life's too short to listen to crappy radio.
All right, welcome back to the show, and thank you so much for hanging out with us today. As promised, Alaro Craft Brewery out of Sacramento, California, is in the studio with us. We've got the founder, owner, Ray Ballestero, is in the studio. Welcome, Ray.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for being with us. And then also head brewer Chris Keaton. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for making the trek all the way down from Sacramento. We appreciate it. You know, when did you open in Sacramento? A year ago or so, more?
About a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Yeah, June 30th of 2018.
A couple years ago, when we were looking to open a second Hop Grenade, we were looking heavily in Midtown Sacramento, which is where you guys are, Midtown, right?
Exactly.
And we
make a mistake?
Well, if you hear, fast forward to we ended up opening in Fort Collins, Colorado, and we just shut that one down.
Oh, darn.
We just couldn't find the right spot. And more importantly, it seemed like every time we did find a spot, there was either another tap house or another brewery opening like on the same block. And we were a little intimidated by it. And I read an article recently coming out of Sacramento that has seen several restaurants and concepts close in the last 2 years, which, I hate to say this, made me feel slightly better. That in other words, maybe I would have been shutting down location number 2 no matter what.
Well, it's kind of funny. We just saw, I think it was the most recent Sacramento Bee article, said something about the restaurant industry in Sacramento's a bloodbath.
Oh, gosh. Maybe that's the one I read, too.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Which is that's some hyperbole, I think.
It's a little outrageous, yeah.
But it is tough.
I think the industry in general is pretty much a bloodbath, though.
It's scary right now, right? I think brewers feel that. Go ahead.
Of course, yeah. I mean, between the brewery as well as us being a restaurant, so we have that whole food aspect as well. So, the way we look at it is we're running 3 different companies in one building, right?
Yeah.
So we have a full-blown restaurant that has a full staff, full restaurant, table service, as well as a brewery that then is trying to produce, we're under 1,000 barrels of beer a year. And so obviously we want to get that number up with real restrictions.
Sure. With 80 other breweries in Sacramento.
Just in Sacramento, right?
In Sacramento.
And
so I'm thinking that. So the 3 are like the restaurant, the in-house beer, and then
the distribution aspect, right?
That's
so then outside sales, right? And so that's a whole other team, of individuals that we're trying to find people in-house that can wear multiple hats to pull that off for us, which makes it a lot of fun, right? Because everybody is a part of everything, and that creates the culture, and that's something Ray and I are going to talk about a lot today, is that culture aspect and Midtown Sacramento. So yes, of course, a lot of things are closing. And it's because a lot of things are opening, a lot of things are moving, a lot of things are changing. That doesn't make it any easier to deal with, but the reality is that's what's happening right now in Midtown.
Yeah.
So we have to weather the storm so that we can come out on top, right?
Sure.
Well, to make you feel better about your decision,
thank you.
Since we opened a year and a half ago, over 50 restaurants have opened within like 20 blocks of us.
Is that right?
50 restaurants.
See, and that's just frightening to me. And with the 3, with the food and the beer, to me, I look at it, and this is as a restaurateur or bar, whatever the hell I am. I look at it like,
what you are,
okay, I'm stacking the deck. Yeah, I'm stacking the deck in my favor by offering 2 things. But at the same time, it's riskier because it costs more, and maybe people judge you by your food, and it's not as good as the beer or what. You got to do it all well,
right? Exactly.
So it's a double-edged sword.
It is, and and it has higher labor and the whole thing.
Yeah, but if Applebee's can do it, you can do it, right? I mean, it seems easy. How many Applebee's are there in the world?
How many Applebee's have closed?
Sure.
Right.
Can they?
They did, and then now they don't.
Used to be able to pull that off.
Hey, they have a margarita that is chef kiss.
And to me, like, what is beer without food, right? Or food without beer? I mean, they go together. Beer, food, people. You need all 3 of those components to make it beautiful.
I agree with you, and we even offer a little bit of food here too, but it's still
your chili.
It's
chili was.
Did you like it?
Phenomenal.
Excellent.
Phenomenal.
A little kick to it makes you drink more beer.
Exactly.
We're not that dumb.
They go together.
But I'm frightened right now, and we're looking around to maybe open another. We're not like rushing into anything, but it's hard to find a market that's not saturated. It doesn't have 50 places opening. Right. And also, I worry that the concept even has to change now. It seems like every article I read is about how craft beer is, experiencing its first sort of decline. It's not declining, but the amount of growth is declining.
Sure.
And the competition is out there, and I keep getting worried about the whole thing. But it's your hometown, so you chose it not because you almost had to.
I mean, well, again, so go back to the Rubicon. We had talked about that earlier. It was an iconic location.
Well, let's say that to our listeners, because that was off there. So you opened in the old Rubicon Brewery building.
historic.
And Rubicon had been around for 30 years.
30 years.
In fact, they were one of the 6 breweries in the state or something.
That's right.
5.
One of 5. Okay, one of 5.
So, but when the Rubicon closed, they were the 5th oldest brewery in California.
In California, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Man, I used to know the 4. Whatever.
By the way, we had him on the show
Sierra
back
Nevada,
in the day.
Anchor, Mendocino,
New Albion,
Triple Rock.
Okay.
They closed.
Continuously
operated.
Yeah, so still under operation.
And then closed, in 18?
17.
In 17.
September of 17. And so, that's kind of my story, so I brewed for Rubicon for the last 5 years.
Okay.
So I started brewing for Rubicon in 2012 when my wife and I moved from Albuquerque to Sacramento, UC Davis being the main draw for us.
You went to UC Davis?
I did eventually, yeah. Okay. I came from the restaurant world. I was a head chef before, and then started home brewing. And so just kind of looking for that natural progression of life, found home brewing, found breweries, and so being in Albuquerque, a lot of people pushed me towards professional experience, and then I found UC Davis. My homebrew shop pushed me towards Davis, and was like, fine, I guess we're moving to Sacramento. Which then my wife found a program with the Mind Institute with UC Davis, and so she's actually finishing her PhD in June this year.
In what?
In human development.
Oh, boy.
So she works with kids with developmental disabilities.
Can we send JP her way, you think?
There's no hope.
Okay.
I like lamb, dude. I don't know.
He does like lamb. Okay.
Yeah.
So she found a career here, too.
So Davis was the draw for us. I found Rubicon online. You want to meet people, you want to meet a city, go to a brewery.
Yeah.
And so the Rubicon was that place. The very first building I walked into, Rosebud, was the very first beer I had.
Wow, okay.
Al Griffin was the very first person I met, and so now he owns Placerville Public House, but him and I brewed together for a number of years.
Okay.
With the Rubicon, and then, of course, I met Scott Cramlett after that. And so these guys were instrumental to my success in brewing, which is a lot of fun because Ray has known those guys for 40 years.
I see. Ray, is it by design or coincidence that the last brewer at the Rubicon is now your brewer?
I think that's a little coincidence, but it's
somebody designed it for me,
but not you. Okay,
yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Yeah. It was interesting when I had looked at the location. The landlord had talked to me about because the brewer that was brewing at the Rubicon is still here, and I've hired him to kind of watch over the building. And so we kind of make jokes that it was like kind of buying a classic car, and but there was a guy in it,
right?
I come with the building.
Excellent. It just comes with you written in the lease.
No. All fun aside, it was we had a lot of conversations about it, and he was certainly the right choice.
Okay.
There's a lot of young brewers out there that are. They love the new and the goofy and the innovative and Chris is kind of old school. He's like me. It's like I love classic beer styles. I like beers done well, and we talked for a long time. Like, all right, we have the same vision. So it was a perfect marriage there.
And before this, what's your background? Were you in professional brewing before?
So never professional brewing. I've been brewing for a little over 30 years.
Okay.
One of the original founders of the Brew Club in Sacramento. I knew Phil Muller at the Rubicon when he first started, and he was inspirational to me. I was making beer, and he looked at it. He's like, if you put a little English malt in your IPA, this could elevate it a little bit. And all of a sudden, I was like, wow, this is fantastic. And so then I went down to the UC Davis, and we started pulling brewing manuals from that and making more beer. And it just kind of went from there. I became a nationally certified beer judge, super involved in it, and then realized, I have a day job. It's like, do I really want to go into the brewing industry?
What was your day job?
I work in medicine.
Okay.
So, that kid that grew up with that chemistry set, loved science. Beer brewing was very symbiotic at that point.
Yeah.
And so it really went well together, and I loved it. But it was always just not just a hobby, but a really passionate hobby. I was a very productive brewer. made a lot of beer, kept like 6 beers on tap all the time. So I was that guy who everybody knows, like, hey, go to Ray if you want beer for your wedding. And when you went to his house, he had all these beers on tap. And
right.
It was kind of a crazy, crazy adventure, but never really thought about doing it professionally. Until I met my wife, and she was in the restaurant industry, and she's like, hey, you're such a phenomenal brewer. We should really think about this. And I thought, I don't know if I really want to do that. But then we kind of just, it was always in the back of our mind. And then when I saw that the Rubicon was closing, that couldn't happen. So I thought,
see.
Here's our sign. Let's go talk to them. And then eventually, we have Alaro now.
So part of your idea was not just that we happen to be in that building, so we'll pay a little respect. You really thought we can't let that legacy die.
Well, not just that. It's like we had also watched the brewing industry change. So it went from the brew pub design to a lot of breweries that were moving out into industrial areas, and there were there were industrial production breweries with like maybe food trucks.
Sure,
and I like that. And there's that time when you really want to go hang out at those places, but I really love food.
Okay.
And when I started that brew club, everybody was so passionate about not just making beer, but there was that dude who knew how to cure olives perfectly. There was that guy who knew how to cure salmon. Right?
Nice, yeah.
And there was those people that would make like the most amazing chili, and they believed that chili was made without beans, right? Chili was only beef. And like, all right, that's the passion. So the passion that was involved in all that club was this amazing club where it was amazing food, amazing beer, this amazing culture, this amazing gathering. And I remember feeling like that is kind of fading away. It went to this beer forward place that was like, where's the focus on this? And so I thought, we're losing that. And so the brew pub design and that was the Rubicon. I mean, the Rubicon was food and beer and Triple Rock and so many of those places.
Right.
They were fading away.
Yeah.
Everybody went to that other model. And I get why they did it. It was, to make a production facility in an industrial area.
Cost savings.
Way more cost effective. But you lose that culture, that gathering that I loved. When I travel somewhere, I love to go to a beer forward place because you go there, you meet food, beer, people, and you hang out there, and it's always the coolest people, and you find out what's going on in that little environment.
Right.
And it's like, I wanted to create that again.
Part of a neighborhood, part of a community.
Right. So when the Rubicon fading away, I thought, let's bring that back. Let's just elevate it a little bit. I mean, I love really good food.
Okay.
And my wife would always drag me out of breweries. As much as I love the beer, she's like,
we got to go with food.
Can we go get some real food right now?
Pub food is kind of tired nowadays.
That's why Buffalo Wild Wings, I'm telling you,
is making it.
Yes,
I see.
They have good food.
Right, exactly. Good food is necessary.
Good beer.
So that was the whole concept on creating. It's like, hey, let's create this whole vibe.
Yeah,
and
you're awfully thin for as much as you like beer and food.
I don't sleep very much. We drink well. We eat
a lot. We eat well.
But you eat well.
Exactly.
I feel like that's the key.
Let's try the first beer that we have in our glass. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm hoping it's terrible because I'm abstaining from drinking right now. So I'm sipping.
Is it the dry January thing?
Not even that. It's dry Justin because I overdo it sometimes.
Well, that's on you, not on us.
I know, not at all. But I'm like, I hope it's not good.
Justin's definitely like a let the world burn kind of guy. So
if it is, you should lie.
I'll totally lie. Don't worry. I'm sure it's going to be wonderful. Now, this is
our La Boheme, is our Czech style pilsner. So La Boheme is an Italian opera set in Paris about some Spanish gypsies that fall in love, and so this is a Czech Pilsner. As a brewer, this is the beer that every brewer falls in love with.
Okay.
It's clean, it's dry, it's malt forward, it's got a hot presence. You can't hide in a Pilsner, so brewers always like to judge other brewers on their Pilsner.
You're right.
Because you can't hide. You can hide behind 4 pounds per barrel.
Yeah.
You can't hide behind Beauty Jovice yeast strain.
Of the juiciest lactose additions ever.
Yeah, none of that in this.
You and I see eye to eye on that.
And I'm taller than him, too, so that's how much he respects me.
Yeah.
What's the yeast strain that you just mentioned again?
We use the Czech Beauty Jovice, which is the White Lab strain. And
that's the right way of saying Budweis.
Yeah.
Right.
I really need some training on how to say that word. We're going to talk about
Beauty Jovice. Yeah. Budegovice.
Which sounds more Italian than Czech.
in check, but what do we know?
Same.
Nothing,
right?
literally.
It's only a mountain range that divides
you know
them.
what?
Really.
We're all the same.
Sounds really delightful.
Well, I think there's actually a country in between them too, Switzerland, I believe.
It's a great beer.
Thank
you.
It's very nice.
It's very nice.
Check grown ingredients in there. You know, it's a boho strain barley. It's the Zotz hops.
Okay.
We have a lagering tank that was designed just to do this. It's kind of a dish bowl, so it gives you a lot of yeast exposure on the bottom.
Oh, I
see. A lot of surface area. You know, we give it a true lagering period.
Is that bump the esters and phenols and all that kind of lovely stuff?
It's more about the conditioning aspect of it.
Cleans it up a little bit.
Being a wider, shallower tank allows the yeast to settle
versus
out
the
a
cone,
little bit easier.
Right?
So we don't filter any of our beers. We use fining, so of course a filtering agent. But, but nothing is ever going through a screen, breaking apart, and then having to come back together, which we feel like definitely adds to the mouthfeel of all of our beers. Makes them a little bit softer, a little bit rounder. You know, which makes it harder to make hazies, which I'm okay with that.
Okay.
You know,
those are soft and round too.
I want, and so I mean, I come from the UC Davis school, so I'm all about brewing principles. I love clean beers, right? Following the brewing principles, allowing things to settle naturally, balancing out ingredients.
Yeah,
you know, that is. And which is why I'm lucky having a restaurant, because those are the beers that people want to drink
to pair with
eating.
Like,
I don't have to make seltzer because I don't need to make seltzer.
Right.
Mark,
I don't know how else to describe this beer other than the descriptions you just gave in your brewing philosophy. I think it's well-rounded. I think it has a firm bitterness, but it's not like a jagged bitterness.
Right.
The clarity is unbelievable for no filtration.
Thank
so you're using finings very well.
Thank you.
Maybe that has to do with the wider tank as well.
Sounds like it, right?
I mean, it's part of the process. And
It's working.
I don't do it any other way.
Yeah.
Are you brought up a good point about you don't have to make hard seltzer, and this is a beer that people want to pair with food. Do you find yourself gearing your recipes and your beers toward what's on the menu, or working with the chefs maybe to say, hey, what's coming up? Maybe we can brew a beer for, I don't know, braised lamb shanks or whatever good people eat.
It's a little bit of both.
Yeah, a little bit of both.
Yeah. Now one, like, so I make the joke. You know, I don't have to make seltzers, and you know, even as I say it, I'm like, I just jinxed myself. Like, now,
you're probably going to have to at some point.
Well, you didn't say never. You just said I don't have to. So you're good.
And anybody that knows me knows I was adamant against hazies. I was adamant, you know, and so. You know, I hope to be able to hold on to that and to be able to stay within our beer parameter, but the industry is changing so crazy that I don't. You know, I never want to put ourselves in a position that, like, no, we're not going to do that, because that's not the case. Like, if
we had this conversation
people that are
recently,
want it, we want to represent our neighborhood more than anybody.
Yeah.
And if everybody in Midtown all of a sudden wants those things, then we're going to find a way to make those things.
And you'll still do it your way.
Right.
So Teresa wasn't here with us, but Sean O'Sullivan, our other co-host from the 21st Amendment, him and I were having this conversation on air a couple weeks ago, and we were saying the same thing. We were just saying, never say never.
Right.
I think it's important to have a concept, even a focused concept, instead of we're just going to make everything.
Right.
I think it's important to have a focused concept like you do, but I also think it's important to, as you're saying, you someday might have to react to the market, and that's just what you do.
Stay open to involvement, but you know, I don't anticipate somebody running a restaurant wanting to have a seltzer with their paella.
Yeah.
You know,
so
I think we're pretty solid that way. You know, they walk in and like, oh my God, this Castillo fits so well with this paella.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think we really have to go that direction. Hazies, I mean, come on, it's part of our culture now. If you make beer, you can make a hazy, but just make a really good hazy.
Make it a great one.
Make it a great.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be
hazy.
7.
I only have 12 taps. That doesn't mean that we make 12 hazies.
Right. Yeah.
I still got stouts and porters and browns and reds and pilsners and pales and.
Nice.
I just think there's so much room for people who can stake their claim on some really classic beer and dependably well-made beer styles that you don't get everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of part of what we do too.
And
and I think that's really important. And so, like, I'm your biggest supporter when it comes to that. It's like you're making these quality styles that you just don't find everywhere, and it's your thing, and I think people get it and they appreciate it.
How funny is it that you're the exception now? That now we when we started this show, we would everyone was making classic styles.
Hey, bring back the bell bottom jeans.
Right? Yeah,
it is kind of funny and maybe even a little bit ironic that I think it took this hazy turn that the industry made to sort of drive the importance of beers like this.
I think innovation always does that, though. Yeah. Right? The more the radicals move out, the more we realize that this is
the core,
home, the core, right? That you're not wrong in being radical, and we need to be radical to always move forward, but we also have to know where we came from
to know why it's radical,
and then to the same extent, you can't just dig your feet in and resist change.
We know what happens to those that do.
Yeah,
right.
We live in that building.
I waited for you to say it, but
it's a crazy thing. I always make not always. So I've made the joke a couple times. Sometimes I feel like I work in Athens, Greece. Right, where I'm in a modern day city, but I can look up on the hill and see the Parthenon. So working in Rubicon, I can look up at a wall and see an old anchor that used to hold this little 5/16 CO2 line,
right?
That was just this nylon line that draped through the brewery, and now we have this nice clean hard copper line.
Upgraded the system,
that everything, and now I have on-demand high-pressure line anywhere in the brewery that I want.
Wow.
But
you've got both.
But the wheel is still the same wheel.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of the balance of that. And then, the restaurant allows me to not, I don't have to make seltzer because I have a restaurant. But then the brewery itself, it kind of determines a style on its own, And so me as the brewer just kind of honoring what 30 years has built, So Michael Lewis designed that system.
Oh, yeah.
And so then to do the brewing program under Michael Lewis and be taught all these things and, midway through a lecture, he's telling, don't ever do this. And I raise my hand, and he points at me, put your hand down.
Yeah,
and I'm I found one of your mistakes.
There are exceptions to every rule.
Who knows too much?
Yeah, that used to be a rule. I learned on your brew house.
You're
Don't
right.
do that. So to me, that's fun because we still make wort that way.
Yeah.
And I think that's a valuable thing, And
sure.
So as much as the neighborhood of Midtown and having a brewery there for 30 years, that equipment, that was the first 10 barrel brew house of its style. That was the first brew house.
Is it still a 10 barrel now?
It is still a 10 barrel. So we call ourselves a healthy 10.
Okay.
So I have an oversized mash tun, so I can fit 1,000 pounds of grain. And then I have a 15-barrel kettle. And so during the renovations, we brought the Rubicon kettle from the production facility, which is a Portland Kettle Works.
Okay.
Brought that over and then just kind of reworked the manifold a little bit.
Okay.
So the kettle, the original Rubicon kettle was two pieces of stainless welded over each other.
I see.
So they leaked. It leaked. Not they.
There you go. Right.
It leaked.
Yeah.
So you'd fill it up overnight and heat up your water. You come in and squeegee for an hour.
I see.
With all the water that leaked out. So we fixed that issue along with, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 other major issues.
Well, you guys just have it good now.
The core of the brewery is the Rubicon's brew house with
it's still
modifications.
That Dr. Lewis system. It's one of 2 in existence. It's the only one in production.
Okay.
It is really a classic, historic piece of equipment that we
Was
restored.
there not a minute that either of you thought, look, we've got the building, that's enough, let's put in a new brew house?
It just didn't make sense. That is so historic. And once you go a little bit above where we're at, I mean, we have a direct fire kettle. We got that uni tank, that combi tank. It's this little system that creates. I don't think if we went any bigger, the beers wouldn't be quite the same.
Okay.
I mean, that direct fire, you get that little Maillard reaction. We can caramelize those sugars in a way that steam fire can't go.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that we have.
But if that kettle was any bigger, direct fire wouldn't be able to bring us to a boil.
Yeah, exactly.
So
the way we are.
We're in that perfect sweet spot.
In fact, it's kind of a oversized kettle for our mash tun. It's like we can get a really raging boil in there. When we first started, when we rebuilt it, we're like, let's push it and see how we can go.
See what happens.
Like, oh my God.
Charlie always talks about, we don't boil, we boil.
Yeah.
And then,
we boil.
When we do collaborations with the breweries, it's just really subtle, barely a boil. And then, Chris and I always look at each other and kind of smile. It's like power.
Can't put your face anywhere near that.
Right, it is. It's cool. And you don't worry about it coming over. So.
Now, Ray, you hired a head brewer, but you're a brewer yourself, and apparently you're very good at it. You've been doing it so long. So, are you still in the brew house, or how do you keep yourself out of the brew house?
Well, it's a little both. So I'm in the brew house. I'm out of the brew house. Running the business. We have 35 employees.
Okay.
We have a really high end kitchen. We have a lot going on, and it's we started, even though it was the Rubicon, we didn't really buy a business. We didn't buy the Rubicon. We bought assets.
Okay.
So we had to recreate a company in a hurry, and so that company required everything, right? It required a new name, a new corporation, and letterhead, and every sheet and every standard procedure. Everything had to be created.
Sure.
And so that's created this whole line of activities that I didn't really want to do.
Yeah.
But as an owner, you have to do. So.
Did you know that was coming? Was that a surprise in some ways?
Well, totally a surprise, right? I mean, you anticipate what you think is coming. Even the reconstruction, we thought, hey, it's been there. Let's just go in and clean it up and open it up.
Yeah.
We had no idea what we got involved in. Bringing in a brand new kitchen and bringing in new chefs and designing a whole new food program and a new menu, and it's been.
Did you have your other job up all the way up until this point?
Well, I still do.
You still do?
I still do. Yeah.
Okay.
So a couple days a week, I still work in medicine, which is fun. And that's it's grounding for me because I go there and I'm not thinking about work and I'm not thinking about payroll. I'm not thinking about
good for you.
Excise tax. I'm thinking about the patient that's in front of me, and that's healthy for me, right?
Right. So you're a doctor.
No. I'm an infusionist. So I mix up solutions and infuse them into people, which is really fun.
Got it.
Yeah, and I've been doing it for 30 years.
Other people get hobbies, not just jobs to take their mind off the business.
Right.
But you like it so much that works for you.
Yeah. So at work, I kind of consider myself like a very, very accurate bartender on some level. I mean, I'm working in milliliters versus barrels.
Okay,
so it's kind of fun. But Chris and I are very involved in the brewery. All the beers that we produce, we talk about, and
this collaborate. The Bow Pills is a recipe you guys work on together.
Yeah, these are our house beers, so these all got created together.
Okay. Yep. And did you brew them together before you opened, maybe as home brewers, or did you just kind of put them together and go for it?
I think that's where my experience on the brew house definitely came in. So I mean, we took everything apart, and then during renovation, and had to put everything back together. So when it kind of came to brewing again, it was. Sure, we could brew. You could brew a homebrew setup, but
that's not the same.
The physics aren't the same. It's just not the same. So to really understand what you're trying to get, I feel like you just have to brew on that system.
And you knew the system.
And so luckily, therefore, we're able to take a little bit more risk and be like, no, this should work out,
right?
And so
I have to ask you, and I hope you don't mind, that maybe the system, and you had been brewing there for years. Were you not given the flexibility that you have now in Alaro? In other words, I think we both kind of agree that Rubicon kind of stuck to their guns and brewed the beer that they brewed. Was there a time where you were saying, "Hey, we could change this," and weren't allowed? Or
and that's kind of the way of and this was actually a Glenn thing, but to explain all the things that happened at the Rubicon, it would take.
And I don't mean that. You don't have to do that. I more mean, do you now, I guess, have freedom
like
you always wanted?
Things, right? So I had the freedom before. So Scott Cramlett was always our head brewer, and he was the longtime brewer of the Rubicon, and Glenn was the owner, and so they were the decision makers, we'll say.
Sure.
Now I ran the pub, and so everything that was brewed at the pub, I was producing, and then Scott moved on. I think in 2015, maybe 16, before we closed in 17. So we had the production facility, and it was kind of this, and everybody wanted Monkey Knife Fight, and we wanted to brew Rubicon IPA.
Okay, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so we were always pushing the Rubicon IPA, but we were afraid to adjust it because the Rubicon IPA was the original,
and it was known, the
original IPA winner.
That makes sense.
Gold medal winner at GABF in '89 and '90, and the thought of and we had made tweaks on it before, and the customer did not like it. They noticed every time.
Yeah,
the customer would notice if we were brewing in West Sac or in Sacramento. And that was because we just didn't have.
Sure.
There are certain things that we didn't do that we should have done.
So in this way, then, even though I'm sure you have some of the same client base, maybe even some of the same regulars, you're paying homage to this legacy.
Right.
You were also given a clean slate.
Right.
Is that fair, or are you still being judged on
an extent? So, like, I love. There's certain individuals. So Castillo, right? Castillo has had so much success in the world, and some people are like, "Oh, it's just the Rubicon IPA."
That's the other beer we have in our glass, right?
That is our second beer.
Keep going. Well, let's taste this while you tell us this.
Yeah. So this is our Castillo. This is our house beer, right? So,
that's just Rubicon IPA.
Yeah, sure.
Right. What the fuck are you guys talking about?
The Alaro is the castle on the island of Majorca, which Ray's ancestor Ramon Ballesteros was the Lord of Castle Alaro.
Okay, so royalty here.
So his title is him and Annette are our Duke and Duchess of Alaro.
Very nice.
My official title is the Duke of Alchemy.
Okay,
and so we have a lot of these like castle themes. Our chef is the chef.
Right.
Real technical title.
Yeah.
And don't talk to Santana. He doesn't like people talking to him. And so the Rubicon IPA, it is a beer in the same vein of the Rubicon, and to me, the Rubicon IPA was a flavor of the neighborhood. So people in the neighborhood were drinking that beer for 30 years, and so who are we to come in and open a new brewery and not brew that style?
Okay.
Now that being said, it's a different malt bill. It uses 2 of the 4 hops that the Rubicon IPA used in Castillo and Chinook. So now we bitter with Chinook. And then
Cascade.
Cascade, yeah.
What did I say?
Castillo.
You're getting your branding all fucked up.
I got
all kinds of C's on the mind
right now. So we hop with the beer that we make, but then we can't make it without the hopping, and I can't.
Actually, all the brewers listening are like, I didn't get offered Castillo. Who has Castillo?
Castillo. I got to write that down.
You can't afford it.
Yakima Chief is blowing up right now.
It's proprietary.
Cascade. It's an English IPA, right?
Yeah.
Well,
English
IPA is kind of so. Really, I mean, where did the IPA come from, right? So back in the early 90s, that's when the IPA movement started, and English IPAs were the IPAs before that.
Right.
And that's the kind of style I was making home brewing. And then all of a sudden we're like, hey, take that English IPA, but let's put American hops involved, right?
Yeah.
And let's lean out that grain profile just a little bit. So it's not so malty. So we have that malt backbone, but we still have the hops, and let's balance it. And then back, you guys know the early 90s. I mean, they trended in a big way. And then, move 10 years forward, and all of a sudden everything got bone dry, straw blonde, late hop editions.
We've added 5 different other types of IPA.
And then,
hops.
Yeah, then you go New Zealand and, and Australia, and then you tropical. And so we've gone all that direction. And yet, this style was a style that I grew up on. This is the style of beer I made in my house for, 30 years. And so, like, this is what I wanted in the brew house. So let's go back and do this. And and I think we're seeing that, that turn now. People are going back going, wow, this really is what an IPA was.
Yeah. Well, I would only add that I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think you went all the way back. I think this is somewhere in the middle of where we are now and where we were in the early 90s.
Good call on that one.
There's a couple things you mentioned. One, which I just like terminology sometimes, is I guess as an idiot podcaster, you kind of pick up on, lean out the grain profile. I like that saying a lot because it sort of encompasses the philosophy of home brewing, what we do as home brewers and what you guys do as professional brewers, where you just try to make everything simple. But it's just a better way of saying just simplify the grain bill. Because everyone says simplify the grain bill. But lean out
Yeah, it's a little different too.
It kind of hits a little better, right? Yeah.
Because this, for example, I think the reason I say in the middle is I think you have the dryness of a modern IPA.
Yes.
But you added like the mouthfeel and just a little bit of the character of a 90s IPA.
There's like that.
You hit the middle.
Caramel, kind of like maybe
you guys
C15, C40. I don't know. I mean, I'm not presuming to. No,
Yeah.
But
Maris.
that's what I get. It gets the color of a early 2000s, late 90s IPA. The bitterness, but the dryness, like you said, of a modern and a little more modern take on it. It's very much like a revival sort of IPA, and I hate IPAs. I like
this one, yeah.
I do.
But to me, that's the key, right? Like where that IPA drinker, like it is a balanced beer, right? And so we have shirts we put on the back, and it comes from the Rubicon days, and just another one of those kind of funny additives with Ray, like, oh, I heard this from these guys, and you're like, I heard these from these guys, but it was like 10 years apart.
Yeah.
But the concept of beer flavored beer.
Right. Yeah.
And so I can taste all 4 ingredients on this. Now, absolutely, there's no denying it's an IPA, but you might be able to call it a pale ale. You know,
No.
So it's. I feel like
you're crazy.
Yeah. I feel like the malt character and everything. Well, you know, the pale ale I just had out there had more hops in it than this one.
Yeah. Don't get me fucking started, bro. Not get me started.
Yeah,
but way less body.
I had a pale ale the other day, and I'm like, oh my god, this is the most delicious IPA I've ever had. And it was like 5.5%. Like it was,
but hopped like.
But, oh my god, it was, and it was blonde. You know, and it was absolutely delicious.
Yeah. Right.
I drank every drop. I had 3 pints of it.
Yeah.
But as soon as I was like, that's not a pale ale. So you know,
right.
like, sure, great beer, but
sure.
And that's where the styles are important. You know, so and this is that you know, don't dig my heels in too much, but also innovate. You know, if we're going to have guidelines, it's so that the consumer can go out knowing what a pale ale is, order a pale ale, get a pale ale that they like, and not be duped.
I think we should kiss. I think this guy and I should kiss because this is exactly the way.
This is your life partner.
It is, and I feel bad cheating on Warren,
right?
But I kind of don't care at the same time.
He's dead to us anyway.
Yeah, it is important to have guidelines because you if you bought a car and someone buys you and someone sells you a donkey instead of a car, well, it still gets you to the same place.
Right. But everything's blurry. Everything's blurry.
Yeah, you can still feed it gas, but it's not going to live very long.
Right. Yeah. No, you're right. And yeah, this is a great beer. And had you gone too far back, you know,
the consumer wouldn't want it.
Right. So while I like that you guys brew the beer that you want to brew, you're also aware that times have changed. The technology has changed. I'm curious.
Don't worry, there's still Citra.
Hey, proprietary twist.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, you don't know how much.
Right.
At some point,
you guys call this the English IPA, right?
No, we call it a classic IPA.
We call it the Castillo IPA.
Castillo.
There we go.
Got it.
I think at some point, like some of these older IPAs were just hoppy amber ales.
Yeah,
like the mid to late 90s. Yeah, it was like
English
biscuit, crystal malt.
That's what I was asking.
Hopped shit, and it was like.
And by the way, maybe not some of the great brewers.
No,
but
of course not.
On the whole, there was a bunch of that.
Yeah, because you know exactly what I'm talking about. You just fly by night town, this weird brewery where the guy operates a gas station. He has to fill up the guy's tank and then come and serve you a beer, like that kind of area.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Well, at that time period, everything became like a hoppy, malty beer.
Yeah,
right. I mean, and then flash forward like another 10 years, and then now we have pale ales that are hoppy.
Yeah,
right? And it's
I
mean, what's the difference between an IPA and a pale ale at this point, right?
I just want to go back in time.
Yeah, it's just alcohol percent, really.
Pyramid was making.
Right?
That was funny.
When people are saying, "Oh yeah, I dry hop my pale ales at 3 pounds per barrel." Sorry, Andrew at Flatland, but that's a lot of freaking hops for a pale ale.
That's right.
I mean, that's not a pale ale anymore.
Exactly.
Who else can we shit on? Let's go. Let's name names. Let's get Peter Hoey on the line. Let's go.
Well, I do. Before we take a break, I do want to ask about this beer in particular because we've talked about ingredients, but are there any techniques like messing with mash temperature or fermentation temperature that you're using to keep this body and character, but also like dry trying it out like it is. Is there anything you could give us about that?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. But you won't.
No, it's exactly that. And so, like JP was saying about that crystal malt. So finding the right variety of crystal malt, but even the right maltster of crystal malt. So,
I see. That's a good
Simpsons
point.
is different than Breeze. So depending on what flavor you're looking for, finding your right crystal malt, and then it's the equation, So
and having the right equipment too.
Rates,
I think having that direct fire. I don't think you can make this.
Yeah,
so when you mentioned,
I feel like it's everything from our water. So we don't filter our water; we boil our water. So we fill. Our hot liquor comes from filling the kettle up overnight and boiling overnight.
Oh.
So no carbon filtration, no RO, no nothing.
Just let it boil off.
And so we're able to hold on to heavy minerals, drive off the volatiles. Mm-hmm. So that alone gives us a softer water, gives us a softer mouthfeel.
Nice.
Gypsum in the water. If you're going to put hops in beer, you got to put gypsum in the water.
Yeah.
And then mash temps. So using a low Lovabond crystal and then balancing our mash temps properly, we're able to create the right melanodians to create mouthfeel, to create the proper sugars, and then getting
then the direct fire with the
fire on the
malanoid
kettle gets us Maillard reactions. And then proper hopping. There's also timing regimens. So what you're adding, when you're adding it, and how much you're adding it, all of those things really do matter.
And no filtration, no pasteurization.
So you're not stripping things out. Okay.
And so then when our beer, wort hits a pump on the way to the fermenter and never touches a pump again.
Okay.
So everything is transferred through CO2, top pressure, and just basically pushing and displacement.
Just because you think it's fragile and things happen if it runs through.
And I'm 10 barrels. I'm allowed to.
Yeah.
Right. And every time you step on it, you lose something.
Yeah. I don't have to put anything through. One, my pump's not good enough, right? Like my CIP pump is a CIP pump. It's not a transfer pump.
Okay.
So therefore, I can't put finished beer through my CIP pump.
Okay.
Now, that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with my pump. It just means that that's not for finished beer. And so then, therefore, I could either buy a new pump or we developed this system, and it's worked pretty well for us.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And so now the again, that being that small brew house, that small pub, we control every little drop that we serve. We are allowed to be a little bit more tight with the beer.
Sure. You guys, just listening to you, you're the epitome of how brewing is both art and science. And you guys, you're just as balanced as your beer is. You're very heavy on the science side, obviously, but I also just can tell the way you think about beer is not in mathematical terms. Always.
Art and science is shart, I think.
Is that it? Yes, that's there. They love that more. You guys are the epitome of shart.
Yay!
I got to get us.
You got to be something.
When I taste your beer, I think of shart. Art and science.
Not the case at all. I would have already had 4 pints of each on a normal show, just so you guys know. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we've got more beer to try and more to talk about with Alaro Craft Brewery. Hang on. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Julian Trego from Beechwood Brewing, and you are listening to The Session on the Brewing Network.
Welcome back to the program. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. And thanks to our sponsor of this session and every session that we do, More Beer. You can go to morebeer.com if you're a home brewer or home winemaker or home coffee roaster or anything. And check out their Extra Pale, that modern 2-row base malt design for very light colored beers. You can find it at morebeer.com. Check them out. All right. We are still hanging out with Alaro Craft Brewery out of Sacramento, California. And enjoying their wonderful beers. Well, you guys are enjoying their wonderful beers. I'm enjoying tasting, sampling, getting my beak wet.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. You're welcome.
With this couple of wonderful beers. And we've got more to try.
That's right. Dipping your balls in.
That's right. So I wanted to dive in a little more into the concept of beer and food for you guys. Now, you guys kind of, your main thing there is like Spanish tapas too, right?
Right.
That's something that you...
Well, we thought, I'm Spanish, so we thought,
just turn it. There you go. Turn it toward you.
Go.
There we go.
There we go. Sorry about that. We wanted really good food, and Spanish tapas, Spain's not known for beer, but Spain is known for food, and the salty, the spicy, that pairs so well with beer. And,
sure.
And those little little fried components, the small components, the finger food components. It's like it was perfect. So we could create this environment where you could have vegans and vegetarians and seafood eaters and meat eaters all at the same table, sharing food. It was perfect. And then once we put them all together with beer, we're like, oh my God, almost every one of these plates fits so perfectly.
What is tapas?
Small plates.
Small plates.
Is this all it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Is that what it translates to, basically? Like small shared plates?
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. And what I like about your menu, too, though, is I know that's your focus, and I can't wait to come try it, by the way. You just made me hungry talking about it.
Yeah, let's go tomorrow.
But you guys are not against, like, a cheeseburger.
No, absolutely not. Well, you have to have that pub. You have to have that pub thing, right?
This is what I like about it, because you didn't go so far that you can't have a pub thing.
We don't want to make it unapproachable. So, you have to have a burger, you have to have fries, you have to have chips. But we thought if we're going to do that, let's do a good one, right? So, our burger, we decided, we wanted, a grass-fed, really clean beef. We wanted it to be local. So, that all of a sudden we looked at our whole variety, and we had, 4 different farms that we could get this local grass-fed beef from.
Nice.
Right?
Wow.
We're like, well, how do we decide? They're all equally good beef, right? They're all sustainable. They're all ethical. Let's do it.
You pit them against each other on price.
Exactly. No.
That's what you do.
No, we brought them all
business,
in.
baby.
We brought them all
business.
in. And we took the beef and we cooked them, on the grill with no spice, no oil, no salt, no pepper, and just cooked them. And then we tried them all, and we did a little blind tasting. And it was really surprising to me, how different the beef tasted.
Sure.
And all of a sudden, it was unanimous. This one is
really
freaking phenomenal.
That was going to be my next question. It was unanimous.
It was unanimous.
Wow.
We're it's a done deal. And then, so now when you have people come and they try our burger, it's like, oh my God, this is the best burger I've ever had.
Wow.
Beer-flavored beer and beef-flavored
beef. Right? Well, here's the fun thing about it, though. Amazing. So it's grass-fed, right? It's okay, grass-fed, but, you want that little grain finishing to marble the meat, right? Mm-hmm. So this farm happened to do a barley finishing. We're like, how freaking perfect is that?
Wow.
Right? Where it's we're beer based. This is a barley finishing.
Did you know that before you blind chose the?
We knew that before,
okay.
But I didn't want to put that influence in that.
Okay, yeah.
So I didn't know that before.
Got it.
And they're all of a sudden now we're like, oh my God, that's so perfect,
fitting, yeah.
right? And we get so many compliments. I'm like, yes,
that's great.
It's the barley.
Do they buy your spent grains, or no? You give them
we have a different farmer, which is a good friend of Chris's that fixed that up.
Yeah,
which is fantastic.
The guy that picks up my grain has been coming to the Rubicon for 28 years.
Is that right?
It's just that's the guy. All kinds of people call me all the time, and I appreciate your calls. I want your phone numbers because sometimes he doesn't show, and I need another guy.
Yeah.
But that being said, John always shows up.
That's great.
That guy's. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say it's brewers asking for his number, because I know a bunch of brewers who would love to give away their grain, and farmers are like, "We got enough, man. There's too many of you breweries."
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not giving.
You guys are
John's
grandfathered in.
That's my guy.
Yeah.
The funny thing about that is I had a little talk with him. And he was telling me, so last year was such a wet year, that he said not only for the feed aspect of the grain, but he said it got so muddy and so mucky that he was using the grain to put down as like a soil amendment.
Oh,
and I was like, well, that's kind of a cool thing. And then we realized that Chris was, we would get the grain barrels, we had those 55-gallon drums, and we'd come back just saturated in mud, right? We had to hey, can he rinse them off? He's like, hey, he's picking up our grain.
Yeah,
we can rinse them off.
Shows up for free. Yeah. Let's not ask him to do anything.
So we were rinsing off these buckets. So I'm like, hey, I'm glad it served a great purpose.
Yeah. You're not going to look that gift horse in the mouth. You're just taking the mud.
Sure. It's fine. I'll clean this. It's fine.
Have we talked a little bit about the community reaction to opening up in a historic place like Rubicon? Are people coming out?
We barely touched that. It's a great question. So I'm guessing some people are like, well, we're going to go see what these new Rubicon guys are like. And maybe new customers that don't care either way.
One of my favorite parts of it, we gave them a name during the process. We call them the refugees. So
the ex-Rubicon customers?
The Rubicon refugees. And now I have gone to other restaurants around town and heard people call them the refugees.
Okay,
so I know it's caught on, and that group knows who they are. You know?
Oh, they know.
Yeah.
They'll know right now.
Man, those guys would show up. So maybe 7 months of renovation.
Mm-hmm.
From like January to June, so 6 months. Those guys would come, and so still every Tuesday. So Rubicon used to do the $2 Tuesdays, and then it was $3, and then $4, and then just happy hour all day Tuesdays, which
$100 Friday.
Now we still honor the happy hour Tuesdays, and so we do an all day happy hour Tuesday, and those guys would show up every Tuesday night during renovation and sit out on the patio. And so we're closed. It was a closed building. Like all the windows are taped up.
Yeah,
they would show up on the patio, on the park benches, or on the little picnic tables outside.
Yeah,
and bring 6-packs and 12-packs of all kinds of other beers,
other things.
And other.
How many people are we talking here?
Enough to fill 20? A patio.
Wow,
20 to 40.
You should get someone to paint their caricatures on the wall or something. That's like customer loyalty.
You just look up. Just look up.
They're already there.
I guess you're right.
I don't have to paint their faces.
But that's some
were
like
they showing up?
Of course.
Were they showing up on the patio like that in support, or were they like marking their territory?
I think it was. Yes. I think it was a little both.
Okay.
So,
they were pod people, dude. They were programmed to do this thing.
Imagine
they've been going there for 30 years.
Right. Yeah. So imagine being on the inside where we were at. We put paper over the windows, and you know the Rubicon.
Yeah.
They're massive windows, almost floor to ceiling windows across the front, and we put the paper on there, which was you can't see through it, but it allowed light through it.
Sure.
So we were on the inside. We're working. They're out there.
Yeah.
And
it's a zombie movie, dude.
It kind of is because you could see the silhouettes moving, and you're like,
the faces pressed against the
right? And then you'd see them. All of a sudden, you'd see because we didn't have it all the way to the top,
right?
So they could stand up,
get on a chair,
and they could get up, and all of a sudden you'd see a face, and you'd see a flashlight shining through, and they're taking pictures.
So creepy.
It was.
I love it.
It's kind of a beautiful thing. We thought, should we go out there? Like, I don't know exactly what's going on out there.
They never got dispersed.
Right.
And you never went out?
I didn't go out at the time because...
You did. Okay.
I did.
And how was it?
Us.
Were you well received, or were you turned to some weird...
I was received.
Okay.
There you go.
I'll say no.
Was there like a little bit of, we're watching you, Sonny. We're
those guys, you can't ask for more support.
So they came in after you opened, I imagine. Probably one of your first customers. And I'm guessing,
left, right?
I'm sure they had support in their hearts, but at the same time were maybe skeptical, right?
For sure.
And how did it go?
Well, it's big shoes to fill. I mean, how do you walk into the Rubicon and go, hey, I'm going to take this over and open it back up? We wanted to do it very respectfully. There's a lot of history there, but yet I wanted it to be my own place, and I felt like it needed to be upgraded at that point. Like the Rubicon was a beautiful thing, but it needed something a little bit more right now. Right?
Well, and they must have known that. Otherwise, it'd be open.
Correct.
I mean, even Triple Rock.
Correct.
Has renovated and updated the whole thing. So
we watched everybody reinvent themselves.
Yeah.
Right? So this was our time to do that, and I wanted to do it. And we're in an area where the restaurant scene is starting to trend. Right. I mean, the Golden One came down there, and all these restaurants are coming in, and there's this higher elevation. We wanted to definitely have a better food program, but we didn't want to make it unapproachable. We still want to make it casual.
Yeah.
And so that's a fine line to ride. It's like we want this really nice restaurant. We really want this nice gathering place. We want to make these great beer, but we don't want to offend other people. And so we did this, and I'm not sure how it's going to work. And I was nervous, and then we opened up, and we were really well received, and then things moved on, and we've done our thing, and we have a lot of people that have joined us, and they're regulars. We have a lot of the regulars still. Some have moved on to other places, and then we create this new culture.
Sure.
So it's really a very diverse group of people in Midtown now, and it's a wonderful thing.
Is it going well? Is it going how you expected? Is it a struggle because of the competition?
Well, it's always a struggle with the competition, right? I mean, if we're like, we want our place to be packed, and we are packed, and we'll have a wait for tables. But if someone's waiting for a table, they're like, I can walk 2 doors down and go to another restaurant.
So.
Whereas when you're in those little more of an island kind of atmospheres,
people wait.
You just wait, right? So we have that kind of competition that maybe the Rubicon didn't have many years ago. But this is kind of the funny thing. Like we have a lot of the old Rubicon regulars, the guys, I would say, they walk in here and like, wow, there's so many beautiful women in here now.
I just have to look at you, Henry.
Right, exactly.
The divorce rate is going through the roof.
I like that.
So it's nice. So, but I mean, the diversity down there is fantastic. And I mean, who wants to see the same like one demographic? And nobody wants it. So it's fantastic.
What I was going to say earlier in the first segment when you were talking about, we were just talking about competition, and I think that as an entrepreneur, you have to find these locations where you get in on the ground floor instead of like the top, right? Mm-hmm. And I do think that there are probably too many restaurants and bars for Sacramento right now.
Agreed.
But if you waited to open, the door would have closed. So in other words, you have to take this risk. Mm-hmm. You have to ride it out. And eventually, because Sacramento's growing so much, there'll be plenty of room for all 50 new restaurants a year.
Right.
Do you feel that way about it?
That's exactly how I feel right now.
It's a hard way to do things because you don't want to be too late, but you also could shoot yourself in the foot by being too early.
Right. And then my thought is you just have to be really, really good at what you do.
Yeah.
Right? And we've got to just try really hard. And that's our whole focus is like we talk about staff training. All of our bartenders are Cicerone certified.
Nice,
we take everything very seriously. Like, Chris and I are super serious about the beer. We're very serious about the food. We walk, like this since the brand new year started. We were really busy towards the end of the year. All of a sudden, January, things are going to mellow out. We took that opportunity to work with our chefs. We do chef training constantly. Like we've done meeting after meeting after meeting. So like 3 weeks in a row, we sat down and had our head chef work with every one of our lead cooks and like prepare this meal right in front of them. Let's watch this. Like I don't want to be able to know who made my hogs and rocks. I don't want to know who made my gambas. I don't want to know who made my burger. When I taste this food, I shouldn't know who made it. I shouldn't know who's heavy-handed with paprika.
It's Alaro's food.
Right, exactly. Right, it's like it should be consistent. Like that dressing should be perfect on everything. Like every plate should be made like it's for a magazine picture.
Yeah.
And we're dialing that in.
Man,
and
you'd be a pain in the ass to work for.
I am a pain in the ass to work for.
You got to have these standards.
From a brewer's point of view, though, there's a difference between 8 ounces and 9 ounces going in at 90 minutes or 60 minutes. And so our minds break it down to that aspect of like, no, this is the recipe, this is the way you do it.
Yeah.
And so
that'll set you apart.
So then just trying to apply that to other aspects, right? And so it would be hard to work for him. Like, no, it's easy to work for him. He tells you exactly what he wants.
There's no gray area.
Totally.
Do the thing.
It's actually quite easy. Just do what you're told to do.
But here's a serious question. So for Christmas several years ago, I was given a $50 gift card to Rubicon.
They get this all the time.
That I'd never use.
So is it still valid?
Okay, I'll give you a pint for it.
Chris will buy you a beer.
Yeah, a $50 pint. I threw it away.
They're good.
When I heard they closed,
we'll call it a shifty.
I appreciate that.
Well, let's taste the next beer in our glass before we run out of time tonight too. And what is this one? You guys call it like a winter IPA?
Yeah. So this is our Long Nights, IPA. The Long Nights Winter IPA. This is you made the comment just before the break about brewing with the art of it. A concept kind of developed this recipe. So thinking of an IPA going into the summer. So I wanted a medium bodied, so not dry, not clean, not southern, none of that SoCal style where it's like light malt body. But I also didn't want that.
That's an IPA.
Also didn't want that caramel crystal malt backbone either. It's not a classic West Coast. It's not a modern West Coast. So, just imagine that Spanish cathedral covered in snow in the northern mountains of New Mexico, and the feeling of seeing that and this tranquility is this beer.
You got me.
Yeah.
Oh,
so German.
I like New Mexico.
Yeah. Oh, it's
not Spain.
No, New Mexico.
It's in my blood.
Yeah.
So this beer, I used German specialty malts. So acidulated, some Munich malt, I think a little bit of Vienna, and something else in there.
I think of it like think about like a like that Pilsner, that German beer profile, that lager profile. So that's the grain grain profile, but like more American hops, and that's just not done right. So like IPAs are done with American malts, American hops. or the classics are done with English.
Sure.
English. So, but you don't see an IPA done with German malts very often.
Sure.
So this is something we talked about. We're thinking, why can't we do that?
Yeah.
Right? Let's do it.
People love wheat, right? Everybody loves to put wheat into the beer, but to me, like, wheat has a tart flavor to it. So you're making the comment about not being a big fan of wheat. I feel like that tartness is the reason why people kind of turn off on wheat. There's just this a mouthfeel and a tartness to it that has turned me off. But German malt has a sweetness and a roundness as well as a tartness,
a cracker like redness.
But a different approach to that flavor. That just
but not lagered. It's still an ale.
No. Still very much an ale.
It's still Cali Ale yeast.
So it's the ingredients.
But then and then Citra, Summit, Simcoe, and CTZ.
Well, I think the German maltsters they go out in the field and scream at the grain. I think that's really
super harsh on them.
Yeah.
just to make them work right.
Yeah. So that's probably what it is too. There's a lot of violence.
They're just.
I don't know if it's that I haven't had a beer in 7 days, or this is just a really fabulous IPA.
Thank you.
No, it's very good. Yeah,
I love this beer.
It's
bitter as hell, man.
And it was, we've kind of focused on the classics, and we have our house beers that we're going to continue to refine and redo, and then we do these fun beers. And like, okay, let's do this. It's a one-off because every beer is a one-off right now. It seems like, but we're doing this and thinking. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now I got to make this again.
Now I got to make this again. Exactly. Because it's so good.
This is in your lineup now?
It is. It's not. It's on right now.
Okay. Well, it's seasonal too because it's your transition.
This was our winter beer.
Come back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We'll definitely revisit this recipe, but it's definitely one of those. Am I going to brew this beer to have it on year round?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
And that is purely again that kind of. The balance between driving your heels in and trying to be innovative. We've chosen our core beers. Right, we've chosen the beers that we want.
How many of those do you have?
Let's call them 5.
Okay.
Is it 5 or 6? Yeah. So,
and then you've got 12 taps in the brew. You said so. The rest, because people do want a rotation.
Of course,
totally.
Right? Absolutely.
Yeah,
and you do too.
So you think about like half our beers core beers and half of them for just rotational fun, right?
Okay.
That's a perfect.
But that being said, we're not afraid to let our core beers go away.
Mm-hmm.
Just so that we can
self-select,
right?
That creates a little demand too.
Exactly. Man, it's our Avenida, for instance, is our other IPA. So the Castillo's obviously gotten all the lore and the accolades, but the Avenida is probably the favorite amongst our regulars, and that's. So the Castillo is that malt backbone, citrus, resin, beautiful classic. The Avenida is the flip side to that West Coast IPA coin. Higher in alcohol, lower malt body, more tropical, pineapple and passion fruit. But we never run out of Castillo. Absolutely never run out of Castillo. Avenida goes away every now and then.
Okay.
And people are like, dude, where's the Avenida?
Right.
And
you're like,
I'm just sitting there twiddling my thumbs like, it's coming.
Drink something else for a day.
Yes. And, and I'm glad they love it. I'm glad people are asking for our beers.
It's a good thing, man.
Yeah.
It could be the opposite.
Yeah. The opposite. Yeah.
Especially in your market. It really could be the opposite up there. All right, and then we've got another beer to try. Your Tipsy Monk is called. What is
Tipsy
this beer?
Monk.
That one's super fun. So that's our Belgian triple. And we did that one. So I love that style.
It smells so good.
I've traveled through Belgium, and I love the style of beer. It's leaner. It's not the double. It's blonde, higher alcohol, 9%.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with Belgian triples, as much as I love them, they're made with the Belgian candy sugar.
Yeah.
So it's either corn sugar based or cane sugar based. Just
that's
that
what I tend to not like.
Either way, it ends
right.
up in a hangover.
Right. Yeah. It totally does. It gives you a headache. Right. I love them. I drink them. It keeps the the ABV up, but it keeps the body lean. We did this one with 100% malt based.
Really?
No sugar and. So, super low mash temperatures, high fermentation temperatures, the perfect yeast, the perfect, grain bill design. And
it still has that, the ones that I do like have kind of a grape character to them that I don't. I don't know I don't know how else to describe it because it's not specifically grape, but so the ones I don't like are a little too bubble gum and candy sweet.
Cidery.
The ones I do have more of
the yeast is just churning those sugars and pumping out esters.
I see, and that turns me off. But
So
the more the melanoidin that kind of turns out to me like kind of a grapey. Purple grape drink. I get in this one. I love it, but to me, it's a compliment. I hope it's not taken another way. Both in the aroma and the flavor, do I get that character, and that's what I like in a triple. And there's very few that I like because of that sweetness.
Well, and I think a lot of the sweeter beers are made by people who don't really understand the style. It sounds like you understand the style,
right?
And they should be dry.
Yeah,
to a certain extent, right? Not bone dry, right? Not talking about zero, but
dry for a 9%.
Yeah, there should be a lot of dryness, but a lot of malt
this
to
beer
carry
finished
through.
below 1. This is
I would never guess that.
0.5 Plato.
I would have guessed 10 or 8. I would have guessed 8.
No sugar added at all.
No, 100% barley based.
Damn, you got that down
really
low
good.
without that.
Yeah.
What is the fermentation temperature?
So it's all about the climb.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And so fusels are developed in the first 3 days of fermentation. So if I can keep the temperature low during those first 3 days, and then allow it to rise naturally, then I can get a full fermentation without producing fusels.
So those first 3 days is like replication phase, right?
Right. And so we start low and we let it ramp up. We stifle it, let it ramp up, stifle it, let it ramp up, stifle it.
Got it. And at some point, you don't have to worry about fusels anymore at all.
And then at a certain point, you just turn the thermostat all the way up to 90,
let it go.
and then just let it ride.
And that's how you get down,
knowing that the brewery's cold and it's not going to get over 75. So and so we use a French saison yeast strain, which we feel like is beneficial to us because it's more fruity, not as much, not as estery. So more.
No.
Wait, other way.
It's estery, not as much phenols.
Phenols. Yeah.
Not as clovey.
And so exactly. So we get more banana, less clove. And me, I'm Britannic beer all the way. I want English. And American beers and porters and stouts,
Okay.
So the thought of Belgian beer, and then this is where the kind of mind meld happened. Of us having conversations and I love, and Ray loves other yeast strains and farmhouse styles and talking about things, and then I'm like, no, we can't do that. And so all that conversation kind of ebbs and flows, and they're like, well, what if we did this and we use this strain? And we're like, perfect, and then so this beer in particular, we brewed a rice grisette on this yeast, so really low alcohol, tons of fermentables, got our yeast going, and then we brewed our house saison, which we call the Rabbit Hole, which is a French saison. So that was just kind of that middle of the road, and then I was able to gain and propagate sales at that point, and then be able to get a good harvest and just promote pure fermentation.
Yeah, hit it hard rolling.
So
it's ready to go.
So just beautiful healthy yeast going into this beer, and then monitoring the temperatures and allowing it to really ferment out without ever stressing it whatsoever. And so that's the key, because if you stress it, you get phenols and fusels and everything. The balance is all thrown off. And nothing comes through the way you want it. So,
but it does have a little subtle farmhouse.
Perfect.
Well, as it should, right?
With that saison yeast.
Yeah, that's
the French
that
kicks
French
it out
yeast,
too.
right?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
Right. So it's not barnyard at all.
No,
but it's just
there's
no
bread in there.
Yeah,
it's like
clean.
Grainy. Is that what you're getting?
Well,
because I don't get a farmhouse necessarily, but
I do in the after. And by the way, I wouldn't have picked it out until he said saison yeast, and then now I'm picking it apart, and I go, all right. As it finishes, I just get a little bit of farmhouse to it.
To me, that's it's like smoked malt too. Smoked malt. You should have a nuance on it. You should never taste it. If you taste smoked malt, you've done too much.
Well, we think that with all our beers, there should be not one defining thing. If something stands out so much that we miss the balance.
Good call,
So there is a little tart, a little tiny tart, acidity thing maybe, and then a grainy, and then the peppery kind of saison-y thing. So maybe that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah, okay.
What do I know?
Nothing.
No, I think that's right. I said, what did I say? Grape and farmhouse. You said it better.
Yeah, well, no, I just want to make sure that I just want to align our vocabulary.
Yeah, no, I think. Yeah, because the finish is different than the front. You know, the front still has like a Belgian triple, a tiny bit of sweetness to it.
Beer,
yeah.
Well, it's so funny you say that because that's exactly how I explain it to customers when they want to order it. I said, get it and sip on it. And I said it will keep opening up the entire because we serve this in a 13-ounce goblet, so that's that beautiful glass. And again, we're a restaurant, so they're eating their food.
We get to sell it a little bit,
right?
More.
And all of a sudden they're sitting there like, I'll talk to them when I first drop it. I'm like, oh, this is really good. This is really interesting. And I'll come back like 10 minutes later and like,
that's different.
They're like, oh my god, this is. I'm going to dream about this beer.
Yeah.
Like, wow,
that's not to mention they got like 4 or 5 ounces of 9%.
Well, of 9%.
Exactly.
Which I like that you're serving in a 13-ounce. That's nice. Keep it,
right. Keep it real.
We do the same when we buy beer like that here. We're like,
as you should,
settle down, everybody.
It's responsible.
Yeah. Before people know it, they've had 3 of those anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great beer. It's a great triple.
Thank you very much.
I'd say that those are 2 styles today that surprised me. Your I don't like to use the word middle of the road. Your new age,
remix.
Old age, your remix IPA was just absolutely fantastic. That's a surprise beer for me. And this one, because it's just not my style, I would drink each of these over and over.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
That's good stuff.
I feel like both of those beers are those beers that we everybody puts so much focus on IPAs and everything else that then when we finally get the opportunity to brew something a little bit outside the box and when people kind of latch onto it, and so of course the Long Nights is still an IPA, but it was an IPA that came from a different area, and for people to still latch onto it is always fun.
Yeah,
I feel like it. Everybody's on the making jokes on seltzers and hazies and things like that. Everybody still just wants a good, clean, dry beer.
Yeah,
and that really is the key.
Eventually,
no matter what the beer is, they want a clean, dry beer. They might drink a hazy or a seltzer throughout the night,
right?
But they want a clean, dry.
And someday they'll
beer.
come back.
Yes.
They're coming back.
Who is a beer-flavored beer fan wants...
right.
Not every new craft beer drinker who's like never even strayed from a hazy style knows yet that they want a clean, dry beer. They don't know yet.
Grow up.
Those people don't exist. I guarantee. People complain about it, like, but I don't think they exist. There's nobody who only drinks hazy beer. Nobody.
I think they exist.
I'm sure they exist.
They absolutely exist, and I bet there's a bunch of them.
They're anomalies
at the bar right now. Yeah, they are, but they're growing in number.
They like blonde ales. They just don't want to see they don't want their friends to see them buying something that's not trendy. That's the problem.
That might be part of it too.
It's so funny. We have we attract a lot of beer judges, and brewers to our place, and we have these conversations all the time. Like, I love, banana splits, but I want my beer with a banana split. I don't want my banana split in my beer.
Yeah.
So,
we can separate these things. Still.
We can still separate.
We don't just put out all our food in a blender that we like, do we?
Right. Yeah. We don't have to drink a smoothie when we're trying to drink a beer.
Right. True. We serve soft serve ice cream. So if you want a banana split,
we got you.
We got soft serve ice cream. We'll make you a banana split.
Yeah.
And then give you a beer.
I did go to a brewery in Oakland a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And the bartender who I know made me try their beer that was actually called Smoothie.
Okay.
Oh, scary.
That sounds so cool.
It looked as such.
Yeah.
And I was like, come on, man, you're going to make... He's like, I know that you don't like these things, and I just have a sip. He's like, I know you're not going to have a pint, but I want you to try it.
It was delicious.
It was kind of delicious. I would not have had a pint still because I knew that after a few, I don't know how many sips, it would have been too much.
Yeah.
But that sip was delicious.
Good.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Right on.
It didn't taste like beer, but it was delicious.
Which is funny
really hard
because you like the thing. Yeah. It was good, but you will never buy it.
Correct.
Right. And so what the fuck is the point there?
Right. Yeah. It's really hard to serve 10 barrels in sips.
Right. Yeah.
But I guess it's also fun for some of these guys where it's like the hazier the beer, the flatter the bill of your hat is. And so once you have a Pilsner, your bill of your hat and your truck lowers and you bill your hat
I don't know that it's... I
like,
thought it was like the hipsterier you are.
Both.
I didn't know it was
like
broier.
If you're into Fox racing or coding your own D&D games, you like hazy beers.
I see.
That's it.
Yeah.
Everybody else is
we need to
my cellar guy draws out his own D&D games.
Does he like hazy beer?
Does he like hazy beer?
He's more of a mixed fermentation dude.
Okay.
I'm teaching him clean fermentation right now. He can figure out sours in his own time.
There's definitely a scale,
for sure.
X-axis and a Y-axis.
If you don't know me, I love generalization. So
where Fox racing is at the top of the what is that, the Y-axis, and coding your own D&D.
Can I just tell you a story real fast? I was at this local bar, local to me. I won't name the name, and a friend, Vito, friend of Dr. Homebrew, he's a home brewer. He's opening a brewery out there in Brentwood, I guess. Anyway, and I happened to be at this bar with a few friends of mine that were in town, and I walk in, and there's like 100, maybe not 150 people, and they all have like flat bill hats. It was like the same kind of basic,
Did they tuck their ears in?
Tuck their ears in, yeah, it's the same thing. Sorry, Vito, but you do that too.
Basic dudes, are you trying to say?
Yeah, it is the basic. Yeah, it's the flat billed hat and lifted truck is the Uggs and pumpkin spice lattes of anyway, and I look on the menu, and like 3/4 of the beer are these sort of like hazy IPA things. I'm like, I'm living a stereotype. I swear to God, I'm living a stereotype.
Yeah.
And it was uncomfortable and then funny at the same time, because there's nothing worse for an asshole than to have his stereotypes reinforced.
Right. Yeah, nothing worse for us, too, because it just reinforces your assholeness.
Right.
So it's not just bad for you, by the way.
Yeah, I'm going to go to AA. Assholism Anonymous.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank Alaro Brewing Company, both of you, Chris and Ray, for being in the studio with us today.
Thanks very much.
Wonderful beer. Folks, you can go to Alaro Brewing, that's ALARO, AlaroBrewing.com. Check out their website. It's informative. It's comprehensive. You can learn about all the beers they do there. The food menu is there, which I checked out before the show. Made me. I've been hungry since starting the show. The tapas look great, and then that's where I just kept going down. I was like, and a cheeseburger place is fantastic. So go to AlaroBrewing.com, and you can learn more about these guys. But yeah, thanks again for bringing in the good beer. If you're in the neighborhood of the Hop Grenade, we've got Alaro on tap tonight. It'll probably last at least a day, so come on down and try it yourself. In the meantime, it's time for a new year and a slightly better you, and Duke Cannon is here to help. Fact, most resolutions don't last, JP.
That's true.
I don't know if you know that.
I do.
Mostly because dramatic self-improvement is hard. Says me, who quit drinking 7 days ago.
And who's already back drinking.
It's
hard.
That's why Duke Cannon Supply Company wants you to consider lowering your expectations this year with the Moderate Self-Improvement Box.
I like that.
This is like, I think they made this for you.
Pretty much. What do you mean?
Nothing. It's a one-step program.
We don't have that much time left.
It's just a one-step program to achieving a slightly better version of yourself.
Okay.
But it's packed with over $80 of premium American-made grooming goods.
Love it.
Designed to help you feel, look, and smell better in 2020. So, what's in it?
I would love to know what's in it.
First of all, the Moderate Self-Improvement Box is usually $84, but right now it's $50.
Really?
It has less stink by giving you Trench Warfare Dry Ice Body Powder.
God damn it.
Whoa, that sounds painful.
Yeah, dry ice body powder, yeah.
It uses activated charcoal to deodorize. Then it's got Trench Warfare Antiperspirant and Deodorant. Gives you a clean, subtle scent of fresh air and bergamot.
Okay.
You know what bergamot is?
Earl Grey.
I think it was the Duke in the ancient England times who advised King Arthur.
A 2-in-1 hair wash,
going way back,
which is cedar and sandalwood scent.
Well, that saves time.
I love sandals. I'm a big fan of sandals.
Bloody Knuckles hand repair balm.
I think that's never mind.
Yeah, no, it's a hand repair balm, JP. Yes.
What's wrong with your hand?
Actually, I can relate to this. When I just was in Colorado, extremely high altitude and dry climate, moving out of the hop grenade, I had dry, cracked hands.
Oh my
I could have used it.
Poor baby.
Bit of working man's face washes in there, and then finally also a big ass brick of soap, which we've talked about. That's the good stuff. Yeah. And I have this stuff. I really like it. The Bourbon Solid Cologne. Big fan of that. Go to DukeCannon.com. Use coupon code BREWING. You're going to get 15% off your entire order. And right now, that $84 box is $50. That's a whole bunch of stuff.
Damn. With 20% off of that?
Maybe.
I think.
It didn't tell me.
Oh.
Try it. Go there and enter coupon code BREWING and see if you get an additional 15% off. Check it out. You know that we swear by the Duke Cannon stuff now.
Absolutely.
So
15% wouldn't take it from 80 to 50. So
right, so it must be off an additional 15%.
Yeah, it'd be like 42.
That's a lot. That's a lot of math after 4 beers.
See, I only had 4 sips. I still can't do math.
Maybe something's broken.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we've got more when we come back. Hang in there. You're listening to The Session.
All right.
We haven't had this much fun since Doc fell off a stripper pole.
The Brewing Network.
Welcome back to The Session. Thanks for hanging out with us. And another special thanks to Alaro Craft Brewery, who has opted to hang out with us. I love it when brewers do that. Stay for our last segment where we dick around a little bit. And we are also joined by Tasty McDole.
Hey everybody. How you doing? It's me, really, honestly.
It's good to see you. It's the real Tasty. It's not a soundboard.
Not a pretender.
Yeah. Did you see that Kim Shimke's trying to show you and I up on the death pool?
Where'd she pull that out?
What the fuck, right? I called her out on it. She was in a coma when I did that.
Trouble.
But, she was really sick for a second.
She was in a lot of trouble there. Yeah,
I guess she's doing
we're
okay.
laughing about it now because she's
okay.
Okay.
But, that's why.
No, we joked about it at the beginning already. Because she had she talked to me and said it was fine. But I was just thinking, like, Kim, you're like the least of our worries up until now.
Yeah, really.
How are you doing, Tasty?
Hanging in there.
Yeah. Are you in between treatment right now?
Yeah, like in between it. Okay. Halfway through one of the deals.
How did the holidays go?
Well.
Yeah?
Took some extra time off the treatments and, went great.
You got to hang out with the fam?
I hang out with the fam and friends and all that.
Okay.
Covered all the bases. It was great.
Does beer taste any good yet?
Not really.
No, it's still the same, huh?
Of all the things I can't taste, beer I can actually taste pretty well.
Oh, okay.
That's good.
Everything that's low in pH I can taste pretty good. The pH is like, 4.2 to 4.5 or something like that.
What about booty hole? Booty hole.
What the?
No, that has a pH.
Come on.
That has the pH of 7.5.
See?
Yeah.
I thought it was like a new food.
I would use a test strip on that. I would not taste.
Good call, Tasty. Good call.
Yeah. That's why you get those test strips. You can taste the beer, but don't be tasting that.
Well, Tasty gets around. I just want to know if he's back in the saddle.
Back in the saddle.
Really, all I got to do is ask, and I'll check that out for you if you like.
Have you been out brewery touring or anything, or you just kind of get out in a little small radius here?
Back in November, around Thanksgiving, actually, I went to the Midwest to visit family and friends there, and then I went to several breweries in the St. Louis area.
Nice.
It's great.
Any favorites?
Yeah.
Heavy Riff. I really like their beer there.
Okay.
It's a brew pub, and great home brewer, ex-home brewer, like most good brewers.
Like all of us.
Yeah.
Is that a Rocky Horror
home brewing?
Is that a Rocky Horror Picture Show themed brewery?
It's a rock. They got like guitars, signed guitars on the walls.
Oh, rock and
like
roll. I thought Riff Raff from Rocky Horror.
Heavy Riff.
Just a riff.
Sorry.
Like a riff, guitar riff.
Our friend,
that was in St. Louis.
In St. Louis, here.
Yeah. Did you make it to Civil Life?
Oh yeah, I went there too.
Nice. Yeah.
Nice.
I have a lot of family in St. Louis.
Oh, do you?
Go Cardinals.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, all you Giants.
That's just because New Mexico doesn't have a baseball team, dude.
Exactly. my dad's from St. Louis, so he raised me right.
Got it.
The New Mexico.
It's a great town.
Yeah.
I think it's St. Louis. You know our friend Code, who helps us with our website and stuff. In fact, he just did that liner for us there. He mentioned, and I think it's St. Louis, has a non-alcoholic craft brewery now that he says is making great non-alcoholic craft beer.
Fallon Brewing, I think.
Oh, yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Did you try it?
I did, and I got to see that they're doing what low pressure vacuum distillation.
Interesting.
So the beer boil off the alcohol and not boiling it at like 93 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
So you can tell the heat from your body would basically boil it at the low pressure.
Wow. I was thinking of getting them on the show. What do you think, Tasty? Is there something to talk about there?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Because he had mentioned, I thought, I don't think I've ever had a non-alcoholic craft beer.
No. They can talk about the
alcohol?
No, it takes all but down to 0.3%. That's the legal.
They just evaporate it. They don't try to distill it or anything.
They don't. They could. They will. They're thinking about it, but it's like 53 proof or something like that. A distiller, all the hop flavor that they can capture stays in the beer. They got a way to recirculate it or something, and it bubbles through. And I don't know. It's not just a. Yes, it's a system that they have. And I think the manufacturer is letting them use it. That does this vacuum distillation.
Is it a good thing that all that hop flavor stays there? I'm thinking it might be sort of grassy or something because of that.
Well, the proof is in the pudding. The beer did taste really good.
It did, okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, who knows? But maybe they have to add a lot of extra hops to get that flavor.
Right.
But it had good hop flavor.
Well, you can't taste shit right now, Tasty. What do you know?
Well, I can taste beer fairly well.
Okay,
I can't taste the nuances like, there's a ester in there or something.
Right.
I don't get that. I get the bold, the big slap in the head kind of stuff.
All right, well, I'll reach out to them then because he had mentioned it to me, and I thought, well, that'd be a fascinating show right now.
Great.
Although I don't want to promote too much of this whole, not drinking stuff.
Well, that's a whole lot of work, right? Oh, my God. I went through
it's very bad for
vacuum
business,
distillation.
It's bad for business, yeah.
Yeah, come on, watch yourself.
I got to stop talking about it myself. It's really bad for business.
This is the self-sabotage we've kind of talked about before.
Right, now I'm doing it I just found a new way to do it.
Hell yeah, dude. You're growing, and I think that's great.
I'm growing in the ways I self-sabotage.
Yeah.
I hate social media, and I saw a hashtag Dry January sucks. I'm like, that's the first hashtag I think I ever connected with.
Yeah,
right?
It does suck.
Right?
Agreed. It's so boring.
I was trying to put together a marketing campaign like, do you need a solution for dry January, like almost like a pharmaceutical commercial? But
yeah,
is your January too dry?
Right. Dry January.
Does your partner think your January is just too dry?
Listen, I can do the voiceover with all the side effects.
O'clock in the afternoon.
Exactly. Dry January might cause boredom.
I think there's still time. I think we can make this.
Yeah, we might have to make a commercial for this.
Actually, a lot of people do a dry February because it's the shortest month.
Good call.
Which I really love the people that do a dry February. They're like, I should do a dry month, but I can't accept it. Like, February's only 28 days. Like,
those are my kind of friends because you just
February. Right. Now, granted, it's a leap year, so
just put it off. Just procrastinate.
Also, my months are on Venus; they're shorter.
Let's be honest too.
Like dry Venus month.
For most people, dry January also doesn't mean sober January. Like I had a friend, and I was like, "Oh, you're sober for January?" And he's like, "Well, not fucking sober. I'm just not drinking."
Yeah, right.
I was like, "Oh, right. There are other ways." But then I'm like, "Well, what's the point?" I don't know.
Well, I just talked to a friend recently who came in, sat down. He goes, well, it's dry January. He says, but I had the golf tournament on this day. He said, so that was 4 days. So I'm just adding that to the end of my January.
There you go.
And so then I had this, and so you're going to get into May before you finish your dry January.
Right. As long as he totals 30 days in 2020,
then he did not drink.
Then I did a dry month. Now this sounds like me. I can get on board with that.
That's my kind of friend.
I can do that. I can do that.
That's 1 day. Every now and then.
My wife and I will make jokes like, we should do a dry month. I'm like, how about I just don't drink Alaro beers for a month?
There you go, yeah.
Where it's like,
branch out.
Or excuse me, only drinking Alaro beers.
Oh, there you go. I was starting to switch there for a second.
Because I have to do QA/QC, right? So me doing a dry month is just bad for business, really.
Well, the same with me. I had to think about doing the show tonight because we always taste spirits, part of the conversation.
Right.
And I really thought about it.
Don't be rude.
So that's how I came to the conclusion. Yeah. So before you guys came in the studio, we talked about that, and I thought I had two choices, and one was to let these two taste, and I would just interview them about it, and the other was to do what I did, which was just to sip. And I made the decision because you guys were in studio. If you were on the phone, I wouldn't have felt it was rude. But the fact that we have to look at each other, I was like, I got to taste the beer.
You know, it's funny. We
thank you.
didn't do it.
No, thank you. It was good beer.
We didn't do it over the phone because we thought that would have been rude.
That also would have been. You're right. Actually, if anybody within like a 50-mile radius says phone, we're like, fuck you. We're not interviewing you.
I'm opening a new brewery in Concord, but I can't really make it there. Would you mind if I just called in?
We had a brewer fly in from Ontario, Canada, for God's sake. So when Northern California brewers are like, well, can we do it over the phone? We're like, actually, no, you can't. So bring the beer.
We discussed it. It was when it was like, oh, we can call in. And we're like,
no way.
In all seriousness, we do appreciate it because it does make for a better interview.
Totally.
It changes things. And the phone interviews can be fine. I'm not saying those shows are bad, but it's just better when you can kind of relate to each other a little bit.
Yeah, look somebody in the eyes when you talk about beer.
Yeah, agreed.
We have more fun, and it's easier to talk to people when you're looking at them. You know when they're about to speak, or on the Skype or whatever. Yeah,
we sometimes talk over.
We're always talking over each other.
Yeah.
What is Skype?
Yeah, it's a new social media. I don't know.
It's the James Bond thing. It's like GoldenEye, but different.
It's that wrist thing. You go,
it's the reason you have tape over your camera.
True. Yeah.
Oh, that's your porn computer.
Yeah, I basically have tape because I jerk off too much. Yeah.
Yeah. It's your porn computer. It's a telltale sign.
We all know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we miss you on the show, Tasty.
I miss you guys.
Not just personally, but on the show.
Oh, cool.
It's nice to have you back in here. Do you miss doing the show, or are you liking the vacation?
No, I think about it every Monday. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, a few Mondays that we have a show. But
Are you going to come back?
Maybe occasionally.
Most time I got Monday off. What?
Yeah.
Are you going to come back anytime soon?
Well, yeah, maybe. Yeah, okay. I'm trying to set it up where I am.
Okay.
Right now, my treatments start on Mondays.
Okay.
And that's I'm going to have to change it to Tuesday so I can on Mondays.
Well, don't rearrange your whole life because come April, the show's leaving. It's going on the road for 6 months.
Yeah, but from February until...
Yeah. Actually, through April, they'll still be here, but come May... all the shows will be what I've done on the road. You'll have to join me on the road somewhere.
I could do that.
Just fly in, fly out.
Do a few shows.
I'll need a co-host.
You're going on the road, or they're already pre-recorded?
We're going on the road, and we'll do the shows from breweries all around North America.
Oh, that's really cool.
So spending 6 months, it's something I've always wanted to do, and the time is finally right. Our listeners can come join us. And also, sometimes we're a little West Coast heavy because we like to have in-studio guests.
Yeah.
So this is an opportunity.
They're where the best breweries are, by the way.
Agree. We agree.
We have good luck. We have good luck here.
Yeah.
We're the ones that revolutionized.
Yes. And so we don't mind that we're a little centric, but it's nice now. I'm gonna, maybe an interview in Kentucky and Tennessee, and so for 6. Really, I don't have a place to live, so I'm just gonna go into the RV tasting, and figured I might as well take the show on the road.
So, put some gas in it, and
Wow. So, but through April,
fancy way to say you need a couch.
If you're here, you should come. You should come do the shows. And otherwise, I'll be publishing a schedule. And for example, I should probably hit St. Louis.
You should.
You'll just have to fly in and out.
We can help. We could do it together.
I like this. Yeah. And I think JP's going to try to do the same thing.
I would love to do that.
Sully's talked about doing it. Hopefully, Teresa will pick a spot. And so, I'm not trying to do the show by myself all over the place, but but you got to keep up. Basically, got to just go where we're going.
Sounds great.
And the rest of the time, I'm just going to camp and shit.
Can't wait to see the schedule.
Camp and shit.
Two
of my favorite things.
Yeah.
I hate doing both.
I'm going to spend a lot of time in the
one without the other.
That's true. Yeah. I think I'm going to spend some time in the Florida Keys. Oh. I've always wanted to go there. I don't know what the beer scene's like, but there's a cocktail scene, I guess.
There's got to be some kind of.
I think a beer and an airboat.
That's a great idea.
Well, you got to hook him crotch.
Make that happen.
Like a video right now.
Crotch rod's down there.
He's not in the Keys.
No,
but he's in Florida.
But I guarantee you, he knows the weird ass people that you would want to connect with to
that'll take me on an airboat,
sunfish hunting, or whatever the fuck they do down there. I don't know.
It's alligator watching, actually, but
and bear
cuddling.
Yeah. Brewery / fly fishing mashup.
That's not a bad idea too.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe.
Sports podcast.
I'm excited about all of it. Yeah. I'm going to hit the Carolinas. I've never been to the Carolinas. Got to be some breweries there.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely going to Asheville. Never been. We're going to go visit our friends at White Labs, as a matter of fact. I've never seen their facility there.
Have them fly me out. I'll go there, too.
Well, that's one you should go to because, we're going to do the Sierra Nevada tour, and I'm sure that Terrence and Byron will make it fun for us. So maybe we'll do a show from Sierra. We'll do a show from White Labs. I'll be hanging out for a little bit in Asheville.
Are you going to do it before you go to Kentucky?
I think no. Yes,
because then I would be interested, specifically because I know the White Labs guys could set up some good bourbon tastings.
It'll go like this. The Asheville will be just before HomebrewCon.
Okay.
Because it's close to Nashville, so we'll be Asheville first, shoot over to Nashville, do HomebrewCon, and that's when we go up and just kind of pass through Kentucky.
All right, we'll work on that. I might have to take a couple flights in the next few weeks.
What's the White Labs bourbon connection?
Well, just they're yeast people. I would imagine that they know people in the industry who know people in the industry, kind of thing. You all know each other, right? So I just assume. I'm assuming.
Okay,
I'm hoping.
I think they do work on the distilling side too. So JP's just hoping that they've got some.
That's all. Yeah,
some connections. Plus, I think they like bourbon, so they might have just made connections that way.
Who doesn't like bourbon?
Yeah, it's fun. I've done brewery tours with Chris White. And sometimes he'll just go on the public tour sometimes, and they don't know who he is. And so we went to Little Creatures. We were in Perth, Australia, and we went on the public tour. And the tour guide was very knowledgeable, and he started talking about their yeast. And he's like, "We have a very special proprietary yeast. There's a company in California who keeps it for us. They keep it safe, and they grow it for us when we need it." And it's fun for Chris to see that, and it's fun for me to watch Chris because he gets this sort of proud smile on his face, but he knows all these people and sometimes just goes incognito just as the public, doesn't want any special treatment, just wants to do the public tour. He had no idea that was part of the tour, and it was super fun. So
that's cool.
Yeah. Anyway, look for us on tour, basically.
Let's do that.
That's what I'm getting at.
I'll be there for BrewCon, I'm thinking.
You going to go to
BrewCon? Think about that, yeah.
Oh, okay. Especially in Nashville, Tasty. It's a great place.
Yeah, we've been there.
I love hearing
this. 2 years ago, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the RV will be there.
Nashville is one of those cities that
it's so cool.
When you're there, you never want to leave.
You never want to leave.
It's Las Vegas.
Very good food scene there.
It's a fun city. In my experience, it's good beer too.
Well, I've had plenty of good beer.
Yeah,
and then of course the entertainment's just great.
Yeah, great entertainment, great place to go out. I went years ago for a wedding. And found, I think, 4 different great breweries. Yazoo, of course, is one of the most popular ones.
We got to go there. Shout out Brandon. Look at you, boy.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, Tasty. I want to see you at HomebrewCon.
That sounds like a great one. Yeah.
Well, should we do our Twitter game?
Yeah, let's do it, baby.
Right, what was our Twitter game?
I wanted to know, Tasty, this might be good for you.
Can I still enter?
Aliens are coming. Aliens are here, and they've developed robot bodies for us to live indefinitely. So what upgrades would you have on your robot body?
That was the game. Okay.
Well, I'm sorry. What was that, Tasty? You mouthed something and did a hand gesture that looked like you were going to hold a bazooka.
Meet my friend Rick.
Yeah, okay. All right. But I didn't know.
He wanted gun hands?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Like you know, when you put your 2 hands together like you're carrying something big, like a shotgun, maybe?
I have room for my salami.
Yeah.
He wanted a marsupial pouch?
A nice saloon.
Yeah. All right. What did we get?
Well, my close personal friend, Code Right and Fool, says 24-pack abs.
Okay.
So that's how vain you are, Code.
Right.
I don't know. Rick Edwards says...
It's all about the 99-pack.
That's right, baby.
I saw that. That's a real thing.
Yeah. Ricky Edwards says the ability to drink as much as I want without ever getting too drunk. Also a built-in bottle opener.
He took mine.
Well, if you're that drunk, are you really worried about opening bottles?
You got to keep it going.
You break them over your own face.
Yeah. Nordy Pig says a bionic multi-purpose second wanger.
Wanger.
Yeah, wanger.
Backup. Yeah.
It's like a wang, but better.
What?
Yeah.
Does he elaborate?
Yeah, with a multi-purpose opener and spoon. So I can be served by and feed my needy, subservient minions. Of course, it should have a napkin dispenser, for I am a bearded man. I would still have to wipe. I'm no cad. Which is weird because he wants...
I'm glad he elaborated, because as soon as I heard multi-purpose, I was like, what other purposes would you want? But he very clearly knows.
It's for your pleasure, and then that's it. That's all that matters.
Right.
Well, what's weird is that he wants to be fed by a second penis, and I feel like Nordy Pig needs. There's something going on there that I'm not suggesting.
Can you say? Are you going to talk to your behaviorist wife about this comment later tonight and figure out what's wrong with this guy for us, please, Chris?
It's out of her pay grade.
Okay.
That's correct. Yeah. I'm sure she gets paid money.
He's too old. He's screwed.
Dave says, "I'm looking forward to my sweet, sweet death. Don't take that away from me."
Okay, so no upgrades.
No upgrades at all. He doesn't even want the robot body.
Wow.
Which I'm shocked at. Who doesn't want to live forever? Barley Boy says, in Chechnya, we only have one robot body. We have no choices, no options, only work.
That's true.
It's true. That is true.
Yeah.
You know, when I think back fondly of my years in Chechnya, I think of all the robot bodies that are just forced to work.
In Chechnya, there's only New Year, because we don't have happy. Go ahead.
Joel says, a Pico brew in the gut so I can brew whenever, wherever.
Okay. He might already have that.
Right.
Might already have that, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't taste all that good, but you're probably brewing something.
Especially if it's in your gut. Patty's House Ales and Lagers says, I'm getting the Doc's ex-wife option because I heard she's hot while deep diving in the archives.
She is. I haven't seen her in a while, but she was hot.
She wasn't really that. Now that Doc's not here and they're divorced, she was never really that hot.
She was hot for Doc.
Nah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Doc's a handsome guy. Doc's wife was... Anyway, whatever. You know that old saying, personality does a lot for someone's attractiveness?
Right. Yeah.
Casey Adams says, huge tits.
Period?
Period.
That's it?
Literally, period, post. That's it.
Okay.
Well defined.
Yeah.
So our listenership, ladies and gentlemen. Is that it?
No.
Oh.
Two more.
Okay.
Chris Overlay says, long-lasting cartilage in my knees. And I've never wanted to give somebody a hug over Twitter more in my entire life, but
that was it.
Long-lasting cartilage. That's all this man wants.
He was just honest about it. He's like, his knees, I can't walk.
He'd be as good as me.
That guy's sitting on a chair, popping Advil. Jesus Christ, my knees.
If you could grant that, you would.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone else is coming up with these wackadoo things. He's like, just want some fucking knees, man.
Yeah. And then finally, the UFO retard says self-suck.
So he goes with the
classic,
with the second wanger guy.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Back to the
knees. Do you think that's fun?
Yeah, I don't think I'd enjoy that much.
Nobody knows.
What you wish for.
Well, you know who does know is what's his nuts?
I don't know.
The monster guy, the singer guy, the fucking. He's a terrible actor.
Jared Leto?
No, that guy
Marilyn
too.
Manson.
There you go, Marilyn Manson. He admitted it. He literally
Marilyn
did get his.
I thought that was a rumor.
No, he actually admitted it. He did it, and he actually sucked himself up one time.
Did he say? Get Marilyn on the phone, will you, Bevo? See if
Hey, Marilyn. Hey, Mayor. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, maybe he's lying both times.
Well, strive for what you want, I guess.
Yeah, you got to have goals,
right?
No goal is out of reach.
It's
That's what this story teaches
Get what
us.
you want, right?
Okay? No goal is out of reach.
Literally.
Yeah.
Do what you
want. I got to eliminate some things.
You got to do it, man. That's just what happens.
I got to eliminate second wanger multi-purpose one. I don't know what to do with that.
It's too confusing.
I'm confused by it.
Yeah, it is.
Too.
Yeah.
I'm sort of aroused by it. I'm sort of not.
That's the other reason I'm getting rid of it.
That's right.
Yeah, you can't say retard anymore. Also,
there's
it's
that.
too retarded to say. Honestly.
I can't say that. I'm going to get rid of Pico Brew Gut guy.
Okay,
because he's already doing it.
Yeah, there's already some form of that happening.
It's already been done.
I'm going to get rid of Doc's wife guy. That's not really like a superpower. He can just go to wherever she lives now and hit on her.
Go to her mansion.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. I mean, she is single.
She's got all Doc's money.
Not that I know, but
the rest of them I kind of like. I'm gonna get rid of huge tits guy too because you can get implants. There was a guy
whose tits are they?
I don't even know.
I got big tits. Nice.
There was a guy years ago who used to be on Stern, and he made a career out of taking bets where if he would do such a thing for a year, he'd get like $30,000 or whatever. And so the first time he did it, someone challenged him to live in his bathroom for a year. So he couldn't leave. Food had to be delivered there. He couldn't. He did it. Got like $30,000. Jeez. So the second time, someone was like, "All right, I'll double that. I'll give you $60,000 if you get fake tits."
Yeah.
So he did it. He ended up keeping them for like 3 years because he said the attention that he got around town, like people just wanting to talk to him about what the hell did you do. He's like, I loved it. So I'm taking him off the list because you can do that.
You can do that right now. I think that's a very good, logical, thorough explanation.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't know how to feel right now.
Don't worry. It'll come to you later. Okay, that leaves us with about 6 right now.
Okay. You want to run through them real fast?
Well, there's 24-pack abs.
No.
Nah.
Just want it out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Code.
All right.
Boring.
Drink as much as I want without ever getting drunk.
That's pretty middle of the road pedestrian, but it's not out of but
you
it's
just
not.
need to choose the right alcohol percent. That's no big deal.
0% will be fine.
I'd much rather drink as much as I want, get as drunk as I want, but not have a hangover.
See, there you go.
That's more creative.
Thinking she's a problem solver.
I also would have added without getting cirrhosis of the liver. Like I would have added an extra.
Right. You should enjoy the ride.
Yeah. So we're taking that one out?
Yeah, why not?
All right.
Fuck it. I mean, only because we have to, right?
All right, that leaves us with 4. That leaves us with no upgrades whatsoever. He said it in a different way, but he's just like, I just want to die. So no upgrades.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to probably happen.
Yeah, that eventually, yeah.
Which, I mean, in theory, you should take that out.
Because it's not an upgrade.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Down to 3. Chechnya.
Yes,
I forget the exact Chechnya comment, but any Chechnya comment we like.
That's enough. In Chechnya, we have only one body, no
in
options.
In Chechnya, we already upgrade if breathing.
That's right.
Then we have Sad Knees Guy.
Sad Knees Guy,
his upgrade from the aliens would just be, give me some knees, man.
Jesus Christ.
Let me walk without pain.
Long-lasting cartilage in my knees.
And the third one...
He's a Broncos fan, so forgive him.
Cross him off.
too sad. And then our last one, self-suck guy.
Self-suck, yeah.
So we have Chechnya... We have Chechnya, knees, and self-suck to vote on.
We started the show dark. I feel like we're ending it kind of dark.
That's what we do, Beav. You know that. All right, so now we're going to vote. Everybody gets one vote. You know the contestants now, so raise your hand when the one comes up that you like. Anybody who is voting for Chechnya, raise your hand.
I really want to, but
nobody voted for Chechnya.
I really do.
Which is kind of fitting for Chechnya.
It's true.
Yeah. Nobody's going to vote.
We are saddest in every problem, yet no one votes. Too busy watching So You Think You Can Dance.
They just go, sigh. Collective country sigh.
Right.
Oh, again? No shit.
Pavlov is not sighing because I'm sighing. It's my turn to sigh this month.
Does anybody want to vote for new knees guy?
Oh, I like that.
Oh, unanimous.
That's a unanimous vote. Plays the sympathy card. Works every time.
Chris, good job, dude.
Yeah.
Well done. All right, Bevo will send you a prize.
Isn't it sad we had the full realm of a new race to fix everything, and all we wanted to do was fix our knees?
Fix my fucking knees.
Oh, that's a beautiful thing.
I know.
I'm like, dude, if just my knees worked right, you know.
Then he's gonna go. He's gonna go buy more beer.
Yeah.
We're a very blue collar lot. We just want the little things in life, like walking,
for sure.
Just walking.
I think we all have some bad knees in this room.
We really do. Yeah, all of us can relate a little bit. Yeah,
I love good knees.
If any one of us were just 5 years younger, they'd go, "What are you guys talking about?"
They last forever, right?
But we're all at that age where we've at least had one bad day on our knees.
Limping around
a month.
I think I'm the youngest in the room, and my knees are probably the worst.
Still, probably, yeah. All right. Well, that does it for that. We do have one more thing to take care of, though. Tasty, are you still manscaping now that you spend so much time at home?
Well, yeah, occasionally. It's just a matter of,
When I'm not radioactive, I like to shave my pubic hair.
I got trim mode, I get the...
Because you still got to go in and, get checkups. You got to go to the hospital sometimes. Yeah, you don't want to be in there with all your...
A lot of times it's centered around there. Yeah.
So, Manscaped, as always, is here to help. They're the best in men's below-the-belt grooming. They offer precision tools engineered for your family jewels. It's 2020, and so that means new year, new me, new balls. My balls are healed, by the way, in case anyone was wondering.
No one cares.
Okay. Listen up. If you're going to pick a New Year's resolution this year, let it be to take care of your junk. And Manscaped is making it easy with their grooming products. Remember, they've got the all-new Lawnmower 2.0. Oh, Jip, I made you like a care package of Manscaped
still owe me
stuff.
Some shit, dude.
It's sitting on my counter in the kitchen because they sent me a bunch.
Hell yeah.
I made you a whole ball care package.
Thank you very much,
You're
man.
welcome. I made you a package for your package.
Thank you.
They've redesigned the Lawnmower 2.0. It's got proprietary skin-safe technologies, so you won't nick or snag your skin there. So that way, accidents are a thing of the past. Don't use the same trimmer on your face as you use on your junk. That is so 2019 and a half. Now we use the... I've been using it, and I now have one trimmer for my face.
Yes.
And 2 trimmers for my balls.
2 trimmers?
They
Because
keep
you've doubled up.
They keep sending me.
Man.
So I have one for each side, one for each nut.
You're not giving me a used trimmer, are you?
I'm not giving you a trimmer at all. The care package has everything but a trimmer.
Beggars can't be
They
choosers.
keep sending you trimmers, and then you don't even give me one. You know,
I
Terrence's
misplaced the first one, and so
No, you didn't misplace it. You gave it to Aaron because you were
all
drunk.
I'm thinking is like white elephant gift.
Yeah.
At your house.
That's what happened. Second of all, it would have been perfect because it's Terrence's birthday tomorrow, and I'd have to...
you could have... I can go home and get you mine right now.
I got a slam dunker one, so,
Well, I did get you the I did
I've
get
been
you
watching too much Married with Children.
We're all thinking it. She's just saying it.
I did get you the ball wipes.
Okay.
Ball wipe? Is that a real word?
It's like
that's hyphenated.
They are.
Yeah. Okay.
That's not what they call them. They're called like crop preservers, what they call them. But it's basically like a one-off. Like a wet wipe, but pH formulated for your junk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ball soft enough for her, but pH balanced for a man.
Exactly right. So anyway, go to manscaped.com, and if you use coupon code BREWING, you get 20% off plus free shipping. Your balls will thank you. I thank you also for supporting Manscaped, who supports us. And also, all joking aside, it's revolutionized my downstairs. Yeah, my area.
Who knew you lived in a downstairs area?
That's enough information on that.
I used to nick every time.
Yeah.
Oh.
Bevo can attest.
I never got that close.
Her husband and I have the saggiest, oldest junk of anybody under 75.
Right.
And I would nick.
I mean, and honestly, that was back in their 20s.
Exactly.
I haven't seen either of their balls in a really long time.
Changed my life. So go to manscaped.com, use coupon code BREWING. You can do it in the shower, by the way. They're waterproof. You won't electrocute.
Wait, you can Google it?
The lawnmower.
The lawnmower, right.
2.0.
Right.
So go check it out. Manscaped.com, coupon code BREWING. All right.
Coupon code.
I think that about does it, Tasty.
It's good.
Yeah?
Wow, this is a lot of work.
Are you worn out?
I'm breathless.
I feel like this is like mid-2019 right now. I feel good and comfortable.
You do?
Yeah. Well, Tasty's back.
Tasty's back.
You're throwing it to Tasty before we wrap up. That's sort of like what happened.
That is how I used to do it. Tasty, are we good? Can we?
Good,
You're right.
We done? Yeah.
Our endings have been so abrupt without you. I don't have anyone to ask.
Did you do live reads? You done with all the live reads?
I think that's it. I know you usually check up on me and make sure that I've gone over my list.
That's right.
I think we got everything. Perfect. Next week on the program, Ocean View Brew Works is going to be on the show.
I hope they're like in the mountains somewhere.
They're like in Richmond or something, I think. San Pablo.
Okay, so they still got
They're in the hills.
Yeah,
So they do have an ocean view.
Yeah. The hills, yeah.
We're from Fresno, California.
They have a bay view, really.
Yeah, well,
but
it's the same thing, though.
Ocean View Brew Works, we'll get the story straight from them and see what their view is like.
I just love the idea of marketing for anything that just doesn't match. I think it would be really funny.
Yeah. Down in the valley, and they're on a hill. They're in studio, right, Bevo? Yeah.
But
correct.
I like dumb jokes, so it's fine.
Because if they were in the studio, I would send you personally, Chris, to be like, dude, we drove from Sacramento. Yeah. You can't drive from San Pablo?
Yeah. Just saying.
Yeah. All right, that's next week on the show. We got a great month of podcasting for you. Don't we, JP?
Sure, man.
Okay.
I love hearing that.
All right, you want to take us out of here?
I love hearing that, too.
Great. Thank you to our guests once again for being here and spending all this time with us. Appreciate it very much. And we'll see you all next time. Take care of yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you to our show sponsor, More Beer. You can get absolutely everything you need to make great beer at home by going to morebeer.com. Thank you to the fellas at Alaro Brewing in Sacramento for coming into the studio and talking about beer and telling us what the hell tapas are, or is. I still don't know. Learn more at alarobrewing.com. Do you have extra money? If so, head over to patreon.com/earsup and support JP in his quest to become monetarily supported by you. If you love Twitter and homebrew, follow Nate Smith at Nathan Homebrew, Mike McDole at Tasty McD, and you can unfollow Warren at Another Beardy. Our newest brewcaster, Teresa, is online at Pasuti Brews and Crooked Lane Brewing. Keep track of JP over on Instagram at Major Jip, and you can find Bebo there as well at Beverly M. Moore. Be sure to find the Brewing Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
JP's an asshole. Justin's a nice guy and winning the race. JP